Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hotter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hotter Than Hell podcast. My name is Steve Wright. I'll be your host, and I am joined this week by...
BB.
Whoa, we have a chorus here. Let's go one at a time. Well, my fellow co-hosts here.
BB.
BC.
There we go.
And we have two guests here. We have Rob Kelleher. Say hello, Rob.
Hello, Rob.
All right. And we have Chris Granza here. Hi, Chris.
Hello.
And I just want to tell you guys out there that after all the episodes we've done, I believe this is episode 15, that we have unanimously decided to take BB totally into the fold, and he is one of our full-time co-hosts now. So welcome aboard. Yay.
All right, thank you.
Golf clap.
BB.
Speech.
You guys out there, if it's your first episode, we are a hard rock and heavy metal podcast. We have episodes on the whole spectrum of hard rock and metal, from Ozzy to Kiss and Van Halen, Dio, Metallica. And we're just here tonight. We're going to do a topic on Kiss, which we will get into in a little bit. You can find us on Facebook, on iTunes, Ear Peeler, on CastBox, pretty much anywhere that you can listen to a podcast. We have a YouTube channel. Check us out there. Go back and check out the older episodes. And before we get into the show today, we are going to talk about a couple quick news items. Two of them actually are very sad, and I hate that a lot of our episodes we begin the show off with sad news. We just want to give our condolences to our fellow, Americans and country music fans that were, killed and injured in Las Vegas last week. It's, it's not good what's going on out there, you guys. So everybody, stay safe. Any thoughts or anything on that, fellas?
Just heartbreaking that, you get together, you just happen, enjoying music, country music. A lot of Americans love that country music, and they're just there having a good time, and all of a sudden you're getting rained on by bullets. It's just disgusting.
Yeah, I would say a shout out to the first responders that got there and acted quickly, and probably saved a lot of lives and helped a lot of people out.
Absolutely, and even the average guys out there that were grabbing people out. There was one Marine out there that saw a truck with keys in it, and he transported over a dozen people to the hospital. You got to give a good shout out to those guys, and thoughts and prayers to everybody out there, and hope you guys recover soon, and hopefully we can find some way to stop this crazy stuff from happening.
Yeah, it's got to stop.
Yeah. On to our second sad news thing. Tom Petty has passed away. Actually, I think it was a day after the shooting in Vegas. Even though he's not a hard rock or metal artist that we talk about on this show, very awesome artist, songwriter. He's been out there for 30 years. I think he opened up for Kiss at one point.
He did. Yeah.
And and I unfortunately have never got to see him live. I don't think anybody here has. We were talking about it before the show.
I did.
Oh, Chris did. I'm sorry.
Binghamton.
Great artist, awesome songs, and it was weird because 2 days before the shooting, and I hardly ever put any Tom Petty on. I was getting ready for one of our shows we were doing, and I just threw on some Tom Petty live stuff, and it was great. And it was 2 days later he died. So all you Tom Petty fans out there, we are here too. We don't just listen to hard rock and metal. We like all kinds of different stuff. So condolences out there to his family, friends, and fans. So now that we got that out of the way, we get a little happier topic here. We are going to cover the period of Kiss from the album Revenge up through and to Psycho Circus. But I don't think you could really mention Revenge without at least talking about the Hot in the Shade tour, which I believe was a really good return to form for Kiss, for them doing more classic songs, kind of more connection with the fans, and more of a, if you want to call it a stripped down kind of show, but a lot of back true to form, doing a lot more classic stuff. Thoughts on Hot in the Shade tour? I know I could say that BC, Rob, and myself were at the same show up in Binghamton, New York. Were you at that show, Chris?
Yes, sir.
Awesome show. What's your guys' quick thoughts on that? Rob, go ahead.
I think they were long shows too, weren't they? 2-hour shows.
They were long. It was they did 20-some songs.
They were great. It was great that they brought all the old songs back. Parasite they brought back, a lot of old classics.
They opened up with I Stole Your Love, I think it was.
Yeah.
And we were just like, holy shit. Like, I mean, they haven't done that song since, I think, the Alive 2 tour. So it was great. Chris, what's your thoughts there?
I thought it was a very good tour, great album. It's actually the first time I ever met Gene and Paul and the late Eric Carr.
Sweet.
Nice. In Allentown.
BC.
Like you said, great show. Like you said,
bringing
back a lot of the older tunes, which I personally, as a Kiss fan from back in the day, I want to hear older tunes as well as the newer tunes. So
right, it was if you look at the set list from Crazy Nights, the tour before, and then the set list for the Hot in the Shade tour, they did probably like 8 or 9 more songs. At least we got to see Eric Carr play, and for me it was the first time. I've been a Kiss fan since 1976, but that was the first time that I was able to see Kiss live. Rob and I have been friends forever, and Rob had got to see Kiss a couple times before that. I want to say, probably Lick It Up?
Lick It Up, Animalize, Asylum. Animalize twice, actually, Eric Carr was fantastic. He was like an amazing, amazing drummer.
I know. And I'm not really a big one for drum solos and stuff, but his drum solos were cool.
Were good.
Wait, you mean you don't like the Peter Criss drum solos?
Not so much.
Here we go with the Peter Criss.
Sorry. So, I mean, it was just great. It was a great tour. And before we get too crazy here, let's hear Rob and Chris's quick story. How'd you guys get into Kiss? Go ahead, Chris.
Second grade. Buddy,
Youngin'.
Oh, yeah. Somebody brought in Kiss Alive 2 for show and tell. And ever since then, I'm addicted.
So they showed and you tell.
Yep.
And he's still telling.
Yep. And Crazy Roads.
Crazy Right since then, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Nice.
Rob, go ahead.
With me, I think it was, there was always a lot of my sisters. I have 3 sisters, and they all had music in the house. And my oldest sister had Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti. And that kind of like turned me on to music a little bit. And then my sister, Patty, had the Calling Dr. Love 45, and Take Me was on the other side. And I would put that on. I was like, what is this? This is crazy. And then I started seeing pictures of them in the magazines, and then I'm like,
crazier.
I have to buy this album.
I like how Rob got into that because he was actually into the music before he was into them visually.
Yeah.
And that's rare because usually you hear the stories where you see the pictures and then you hear the music. And
I definitely heard the music first. I heard the 45.
I told this story on one of our other podcasts, but like for me it was almost simultaneously. I saw the Destroyer album, then put the album on right away. Like mostly every person that I've talked to that have been a Kiss fan, they have seen them in some form, a picture, a visual of them before they actually heard the music. But like Rob was checking the music out before he even saw a picture of them. So I like that.
Yeah, that's different.
That is. Okay. We will go back to the discussion here. So Hot in the Shade tour, I think that got them going. It was one of their most successful tours in a long time. And then they go back in the studio. It was a tumultuous time. Eric Carr had taken sick, and very sad time. And in between, Paul Stanley had done a solo tour, and he had Eric Singer playing drums with him on the tour. And then he was kind of doing demos with Paul leading up to Revenge. Eric Carr passed away, which was very sad, and Eric Singer took over the reins on drums. And I don't think the gig was his automatically. I think he kind of just got it. I don't want to say by default. Yeah. He's the guy that was there when
he was. Well, when I saw Paul on tour that tour, when he went out on, what was that, 89? Saw him down the Bebop Cafe in Wilkes-Barre, and it was fantastic. It was in like an old railroad car that they turned into like a little concert hall. It wasn't that big. It was really small, but there was a lot of people packed into there. And it was great. Eric Singer, Bob Kulick,
right?
And it was a good show. And they did a Zeppelin song. They did Communication Breakdown, too. That was fantastic. And Eric was great. Eric Singer was fantastic. And then, he, like you said, they kept him on.
Yeah, because, I mean, he had been playing with Badlands before that. He had played with Sabbath. I think he was actually still touring with Alice Cooper when they were prepping doing the Revenge album. He just, like I said, he just kind of, was the right guy there at the right time. Excellent drummer. He had a lot of experience, and then so now they're writing for Revenge, and like they got like really, I don't want to say grungy looking, but they were more grungy looking. on the Revenge. You got the cover. There was the steel on the front and it had Revenge, and you look on the back and you're like, whoa, like Gene, badass looking on that. There's like the street demon.
They were going more for the back to the adults, away from the kids,
away from the kids
kind of
stuff.
look.
Yeah,
It's almost like they were reborn.
Yeah. And in the album itself, who did they bring back, BB, for that album to write?
Of course, they had to bring
them?
back their writing phenomenon, Vinnie Vincent, for 3 songs. He co-wrote Unholy, he co-wrote Heart of Chrome, and he also co-wrote on I Just Wanna.
I Just Wanna. Fuck.
Now, a funny thing I found. They actually wanted to name this album Destroyer too.
Really?
That's what I found.
That would have been so stupid.
Yeah.
That would have been
That
dumb.
would have just been so fucking stupid.
And they brought Ezrin back too.
Bob Ezrin back at the helm, which thank God it didn't head in the direction that like the Elder headed.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I know
But
there's
I
a lot
wanted
of
to know
fans
what
of the
happened with
Elder out there.
Morpheus.
I don't give a shit what happened to fucking Morpheus. Seriously. Or the boy. But there's some really standout tracks on there. What was the last album that Gene Simmons opened up an album?
Oh, good point. Yeah.
I mean, here's the Demon's Back, Unholy. It starts out with that rumbling.
And that's fantastic.
It kicks in.
great
I
way
remember
to
seeing
start
the
an album.
video of that on MTV when it came out, and I'm like, wow, this is Kiss. And I remember thinking, wow, the drummers got like blonde hair. Like, everything was always, not that I'm looking for shit like that, but it was different seeing him on that. But just seeing that video, Gene with his eyes rolled back up in his head, and it
was awesome.
the Gene scream at the end of that song was just like, holy fuck, like just crazy. The great sounding album. BC, what's your Revenge take here?
Phenomenal. I mean, when that came out, I was blown away. Like you said, the look was different. I mean, but the music was a lot more.
I
necessarily dark.
don't think fans liked that. They had a hard time selling out 5,000.
They did.
They had a hard time selling tickets.
I don't know why, because it's progression of Kiss. I think at the time.
Sure.
I mean, Hot Shade and all the ones before that. I think and then this came out. It was just. I don't think there's a bad tune on it, except for a guy gave rock and roll to you. I just can't. I can't accept that.
Yeah, but they put a nice spin on that too, though.
I've never heard the original version of that.
No.
I don't know.
Have you?
Yeah. Theirs is much better. Kiss's is much better.
I'm sure it is.
They made it their
much
own.
better.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a fan of the song either. There were some cool parts in the song.
Oh yeah, but
Well, they used it for that movie. They used it
Yeah,
for
Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted's,
Yeah. So I mean, they stuck it on there. And my main bitch with this album, I love the album. I do. I real Take It Off is great. How can you not like a song about fucking strippers? It's fucking great.
And they brought strippers up too.
And they did. I know that was.
That was just
excellent.
a joke, right?
Yeah,
that was just a joke. And
out
they
as a
liked it
joke.
so much.
And then they had a couple girls that like toured with them.
Yeah,
a couple
they
of
stayed
same
with
ones.
them for a couple months.
And there's some good shit like Thou Shalt Not is great.
Love that song.
Every time I look at you, that's kind of growing on me a little bit, but I'm not a ballad guy too much. Like Paralyzed is cool, I Just Want is cool. The thing that frosts my ass on this album is Car Jam 81. I think they really here goes this is my soapbox today. And I think we've heard it on another episode, but I'm going to say it again, fuck it. I think they really did Eric Carr a very bad disservice on this Car Jam 81. Now, number one, it's fucking Breakout from Fraley's Comet, for one thing. And I know he co-wrote it or whatever, but they could have did so much other cool shit, there. I think they just said, you know what, we'll just stick this on there and just let it be on there. I think it sucks. They could have he did so many cool solos with the electronic stuff going on and everything. They could have put that on there. They could have did something different. I don't like that. I think it sucks.
And they overdubbed Ace's guitar on it, and Bruce redid it. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Now that makes me hate it even more.
Yep.
Anyone else?
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they paid tribute to Eric.
I'm glad that they
And I'm
paid
glad that
tribute
they-
to him. I just don't like how they did it.
But they put something on there that was recorded, that wasn't a live show, and threw it on there, and so people could hear it.
Right, but I'm
know,
sure
and
throughout
it
the
showed-
years they had so much other shit they could. Because I know, even when they did The Elder, he recorded a bunch of demos and shit with those guys. I think they could have picked something a little better than some. My main bitch is that it's a song that's already out there.
But it wasn't a Kiss song that was already out there. It was an idea that Ace had that he used in
Right,
another
that
song.
wasn't out there.
But like this is
I
like
just think
him
they
just
jumped the ball.
jamming, having like playing freely, having a good
Right.
time. He's not like strict and scheduled to like a certain song.
I agree
He's
with
just
you.
jamming with the band, and
Yeah.
I think it really works.
Yeah.
We'll just have to agree to disagree, I guess. On that one. I
Get off that soapbox.
I think they could have. I think they could have did something a little different. I think they just could have paid tribute a little better. than
Well,
that.
they also say that God Gave Rock and Roll to You. It was also part
Yeah.
of like the tribute to Eric. It wasn't originally supposed
yeah,
to be.
he
on the
actually
album.
sang harmonies on that too,
Yeah.
Eric.
On what?
On
God Gave Rock and Roll to You.
And he was in
He
the
did
video,
say
right?
He was in
Yeah,
the
he was in
video.
the
He was
video.
really sick at
Yeah.
that time
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Revenge tour. I think everyone in this room, with the exception
I
of
did
BB
that.
and Dylan,
Yeah, I wasn't-
saw
I
that
wasn't
tour
alive.
also.
These young kids here.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was
Myself,
awesome.
BC, Rob's wife, and Rob's sister-in-law went to that show together, and we were right on the rail.
Yeah.
We were right on the rail for that.
Yep.
And
This can be-
I mean, it was just I thought it was just a great extension of the Hot in the Shade tour. I thought it was an excellent show. But you guys were there at the same show. Do you think that the place wasn't packed? I don't know. Do you
No,
do
I
you
mean,
ever
I
get
didn't.
that feeling?
When I'm up there, I don't look behind
No,
me. I
no,
just want to
no, I
rock.
know.
I don't care.
I just
I like you said, we couldn't see up.
Yeah, it seemed good to me.
Seemed good to me, yeah.
Plenty of people to me, and it was.
I mean, we could
a
see up
fantastic
into
concert.
the high
Right.
seats up in the
Right.
back, but you looked around, there was plenty.
Yeah.
Of people.
I was just having
What
a
was the
great
numbers on
time.
that one?
I don't know. I'm looking it up now.
I remember reading that, but
I actually saw that the opening night, the night before the opening night in Stabler Arena, where they had
yeah.
for the media
Oh.
because they opened up the tour there.
Bethlehem,
Yep.
right?
Yep. So I actually got passes to that show, and there was probably about 100 people there,
Yeah.
and they did the full show, full
Now,
stage, full show.
Did they do? Was it like a dress rehearsal as well, or did they just come out in just street clothes?
I think jeans and
Little
t-shirt,
bit.
kind of a little bit, you know.
Right. Yeah.
I don't even think they knew because Paul walked out and he's like, "What are you guys doing here?"
Yeah.
And we're like, "We're here for a show."
to get playing.
And they were actually doing MTV interviews too.
Would they stop in between songs? And do
No, they
interviews
did
or
it
just-
before.
Oh,
They did it
okay.
before on the
Like-
stage.
like
Oh, that's cool.
MTV and music. Wow,
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 That's back in 1992 when they
If
actually
you see
played
that-
videos and
If you
interviewed
see that
people.
interview on MTV from the Revenge tour and they're on the stage, that was it.
Nice.
That was from that
Nice.
night. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. I got some cool pictures too.
That would have been cool.
Revenge tour, and that gave us Kiss Alive 3. Wow, crickets.
Yeah.
Hey, I like.
Do we have
Alive
crickets
3.
thoughts on it? I personally, I love Kiss Alive 3.
I think it's my favorite Alive. I love the
I think,
the drums on it. I think
actually,
it's
that's
the
what I
best-
like.
The
That's
best
what I
drums
like.
in any of the lives.
The double bass.
The double bass on
is
Detroit Rock City.
fantastic.
Like on Detroit,
That's
yeah.
that's the
Amazing.
best.
Yep.
That's my favorite
So
song
good.
on that.
Yeah.
Yep. Now other ones like I Was Made for Loving You. Do you know that was recorded in the sound check? It
No,
was,
I
it
did
was
not know
actually
that.
I Was Made
So
for
back
Loving
to
You.
the old tricks of
Yeah.
Yeah.
recording
It
that
came
kind
out.
of
They
shit.
did a sound check with that song and they recorded that. Then they used that and overdubbed the audience into it.
You could
'Cause
tell
it sounds
there are
so
certain
good.
songs you're like, this isn't even
Yeah.
close to live.
Yeah.
What is this, room service?
Yeah, no shit.
But it's okay. It's not. It's no Alive
I
2.
enjoy it. Before we talk about Alive 3, I wanted to do something here that I forgot real quick. I'm going to go around the table here. Sorry. We'll backtrack a little bit. Dylan knows what I'm going to do, but no one else does. BB,
Okay.
MVP on Revenge.
Tough love.
Person, I mean.
Oh,
We'll go song in person. We can go
Go song in person.
okay. I'm gonna say Gene. Gene really brought it, that album. It's kind of surprising because it's not like you expect Paul to be like the main.
Which he
star
has. He's the guy that
child.
he's pretty much
But
the guy that carried the
Gene-
band for the 80s.
The 80s. Yeah.
I'm gonna say Gene. He really brought it in a couple songs.
Okay. BC, MVP on Revenge.
Bruce Kulick.
Bruce? Okay.
Because I mean, not only Playing the guitar, he played bass on Tough Love and Every Time I Look at You.
And his solos were really good.
Solos
too.
are very good.
Yeah.
But like I have to agree with BB. Gene, I think, turned it up a notch and brought a whole new demoness to it.
So we got a Gene, we got an Bruce, Rob.
I'm definitely going Gene too, for sure.
Gene.
Gene.
Okay.
And Thou Shalt Not is off the charts.
Oh, BC, what was your MVP song?
Take It Off.
Take It Off. Okay. Chris.
Paul Stanley, by far.
Surprise! The guy that has 2 stars tattooed on the back of his arms is going to pick Paul Stanley. Imagine that.
He's the best singer-songwriter ever, so he didn't write a bad song yet. And I would probably have to say Heart of Chrome is probably my
Because
favorite
of Vinnie
song.
Vincent, right?
No, because Paul's vocals.
Well, Vinnie Vincent did save Kiss.
And
That's what he
oh,
said.
that's a whole other show.
That's what he said.
Sorry. Damn right I did. Wait, I forgot to put the paper in front of my face. Damn right I did.
There you go.
I'm gonna call Gene on the MVP on Revenge. I'm gonna say Thou Shalt Not for the MVP song on there.
Nice.
I gotta agree with Rob on that one.
Yeah.
I think maybe Bob Ezrin like bitch slapped Gene. Kiss's manager, Larry Mazer, said to Gene, he was managing Liza Minnelli at the time. He said, drop her. He said, you need to stop making these shitty movies. You need to devote yourself to Kiss.
Yeah.
And I think that was the bitch slap that Gene needed to get him back into Kiss. Yeah.
And into the
He
demon.
said we want to see the. He said we want to see the demon. He said we don't want to see this
Because
this other
Revenge,
shit.
he was the demon without makeup, which
Right.
nobody thought he could do, but he did
Yeah.
it on Revenge.
Because he looked like, someone's
Yeah.
friggin' Aunt Millie from, down at the fucking high rise for the last, fucking 10 years, Jesus. But, I mean, he pulled the car back onto the road for Revenge, I think.
And wasn't Spit the first song in a long time that Gene and Paul actually sang together on?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yep.
Went back to them
That's
sharing
a
the
good
lead
song,
vocals.
too.
Yeah,
Yep.
that is a
Yep.
good song.
That's a kick-ass song.
That's a song, you just gotta, people are like, the bigger the cushion, better you know what, it's a Kiss song. It's not a fucking Dream Theater song. They're gonna sing about partying and getting laid.
I like that you always use Dream Theater as like.
I do, because they're,
so
they're a
technical.
sophisticated band,
Yeah.
they're
Do
sophisticated.
you think it would have been a better song if it was It Don't Mean Shit to Me instead of Spit to Me?
I think spit kind of puts that colloquialism to it. It's like that,
Wow, look up that
down-
word.
I know,
That
right?
that good old boy.
I
kind
just
of
always
feel to
thought
it.
when that came out, just because everybody's
Like, it has, like, a very-
I just think they didn't want to name
right.
song
No,
named
I
Shit.
understand that, but I think it would have been a stronger song if they actually used that.
Right, or if they threw it in there once.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, that's
Even
like-
I think it would have had more impact if just the very first time.
Yeah.
It don't mean shit to me,
I
and
think-
then
I think
go
the-
back.
Right.
See, I think the last time it would be like it's like you expect spit, it's like he says shit.
It reminds me of an AC/DC too. I can see AC/DC.
I can see, like,
do
Bon
it.
Kind of like
Scott
a big
singing
balls
it.
kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, not musically, but theme wise. Okay.
Yeah. I said yeah.
Okay. I said the microphone can't see you shaking your head. All right. I'm sorry about that. All right. Back to Alive 3. I really enjoy the album. I think the drums are great on there. I think they once again did a disservice. I think it should have been a double album. Well, we're talking about Alive 3. What do you guys think should have been Alive 3? So you went from 1978 to, when did this come out? This came out in 1993. So you went from 1978 to 1993 without a Kiss live album. What's your guys' thoughts? What do you think would have been a good Kiss Alive 3 album besides the Revenge tour?
We
Chris?
had the
Animalize,
the video.
live uncensored.
Right. So I think that probably is Alive 3,
Yeah.
but just not named Alive 3.
Okay. I do agree with that. I was hoping that someone would say that. I'd say either that or they could have recorded something from the Hot in the Shade tour.
Yeah, but Hot in the Shade tour had all the
That
songs
had a
were on
huge, yeah, that had a huge
1 and 2 already.
like a bigger spectrum. I do agree with that. But I do like the thought of the Animalized Live Uncensored. Because it was in Detroit where they recorded Alive. In quotations, recorded Alive. But like there was great songs on that. I mean, there was War Machine was on there, and they didn't put War Machine on Alive 3. That was one of that was the song that Gene was spitting fire on, and it was great live.
It was great.
It was
live.
excellent live.
Yeah.
And I'm not wondering if they didn't put that on there because it was another Vinnie Vincent co-written song. Because they already had I Just Wanna, Unholy, I Still Love You, Lick It Up, and I Love It Loud were all songs that were on Alive 3 that were Vinnie Vincent songs, and maybe they just didn't want to put another one on there.
Yeah.
I don't know however he gets paid or whatever the hell, but
Right.
I just am upset that it took them from Creatures of the Night to when they released Kiss Rocks Vegas to have War Machine on a live album for all the other ones that they put out and everything. I think it pretty much sucks. But songs on Alive 3, Watching You was really cool. The guitar sound is freaking excellent on that. And I actually like the version of Lick It Up on there because it doesn't have that big middle that they do now with
that's a tribute to the Who, and it's
Who
great.
song and shit. But it's so drawn out now. I mean, they extend that song. They could do like another song.
The song it's from is like 8 minutes long.
I know, but I don't know. Some of the shit they do, it just drives me crazy.
It's one of the greatest musical moments of all time.
Alive 3, Rob, MVP, song and artist.
I would say Detroit Rock City is definitely my favorite, and I would say Eric Singer because the drum sound is phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The double bass, it makes it sound like new fresh songs.
It does.
And it gives a nice spin to it.
Sure. I agree. BB.
I'm gonna go with Creatures, song they opened up the album with, and I'm gonna go with Bruce Kulick. You think of all these old songs he had to actually learn, probably somewhat rather quickly to, because you have Deuce, you have Watching You, you have I Was Made for Loving You, Rock and Roll All Night, Lick It Up, all these songs that he didn't play on, he had to learn rather quickly to put this album up. But I don't know, I'm not a really big fan of this album. Out of all the albums we're going to talk about tonight, this is probably my least favorite, only because it doesn't sound live. It's not it, and I know Dylan's the anti-producer, but I think it sounds. I really think this album sounds horrible because it's supposed to be live and it doesn't even sound close to be live.
It's too clear.
Yeah, there's something
Too polished.
Right,
It's
too
like
polished.
something wrong.
Yeah,
It's just
I think, and it was produced by Eddie Kramer. I think he should have went back and listened to Alive and Alive 2 a little more before producing this, before putting this album together. I mean, that's my thoughts. And I do agree with you. It doesn't sound live. It sounds more
love to hear
produced than played.
Like I think out of the 3 Alive albums, I think this one's the worst sounding, even out of the first 2.
I agree.
Even in the symphony one?
That's not one of the first 2.
No, that's
the 4th.
No, out of Live
Matt's
1,
a
2,
little
and 3,
off there.
3 is the worst.
Okay, Chris.
I would have to go Detroit Rock City, probably because it's the best song ever written by the best vocalist ever. And then Creatures of the Night comes in close second.
I think we have a theme here. All
I'm a
right.
little
Guys,
biased.
I don't think Chris likes Paul. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
All right, BC.
Eric Center, and I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go different than everybody else. Heaven's on Fire.
Why?
Back when Paul could still sing that intro part.
Yeah, he does the
Can't quite hit it.
That's a whole other show. Him doing that.
Easy.
All right, Dylan, I'll let you go.
I think I have to agree with Rob across the board. I think Detroit and Eric Singer. The double bass on those songs really adds a new dimension to it that brings it out. And I love that version of Detroit Rock City.
Brings it up into the modern time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say one of the things that I do like about Alive 3 is that they do Rock and Roll Night like in the middle of the set.
Oh,
And
instead
get it
of
the
the
fuck
Hey.
over with.
Hey, you need to end on a
So
Star
you
Spangled Banner.
can have a song where you go take a piss,
yeah.
in the middle of the
Before
set.
the encore,
And you could still leave at the end since they do the Star Spangled Banner.
I'm going to say my MVP for this album, I'm going to agree with BB. I'm going to go with Bruce Kulick on this one. I just love the version of Watching You on there. I think his guitar sound is so excellent on there, and I like his take on some of the original solos. He does the Vinnie Vincent guitar playing solos and songs way, no offense Tommy, but way fucking better than Tommy Thayer does. Like if you listen to Creatures of the Night and the solo that Tommy Thayer does on that, and then go back and listen to the solo on Kiss Alive 3, and there's no contest. I mean, that's a song and a solo. The Vinnie Vincent ones, they're made for a guy that plays a little faster. They're made for a guy that plays with a tremolo bar, not just a guy playing a Les Paul.
They're for a guy that has an ego.
They have attitude.
They do.
The attitude.
That's what I was looking for.
That's
They
what-
do. Those songs have
That's what I meant.
a certain attitude to them, and I think that Bruce pulls them off better than Tommy Thayer does. So I'm going with Watching You, and I'm going with our buddy Bruce. Any final thoughts on Kiss Alive 3, my friends? No. Okay. I figured that was going to be a short discussion on Alive 3.
Detroit's never sounded better.
Just not great. So at this point, we're in the mid-'90s, and all of us here have gone to the Kiss Expos or Kiss, they were Kiss conventions until Kiss decided to steal that name for themselves and do their own thing out there.
I have not gone to
I'm Dylan. Dylan hasn't. Dylan wasn't even born yet, actually, when this shit was going on. But myself, BB, Rob, BC, our buddy Chris, have you gone to them, Chris? To the Kiss Expos? Okay. And we actually, us guys here, have not. We didn't become friends with Chris until really the reunion tour. I think was the first time that we actually partied with Chris. Even though Chris doesn't remember it, I do. We'll get into that when we talk about the reunion tour a little
You're
bit.
one of maybe 3 people to stay behind a drink.
Yeah. We'll get into that.
I drank too much because I don't remember.
We'll get into that. But that's Kiss were doing their own things. They had the fans had their Kiss conventions. Mm-hmm. And then once they really clamped down on the bootleg shit, they came in the one convention we were at and they took all the bootleg shit the fuck out. Yeah. And then that was pretty much the kibosh on
After that,
on that Kiss Expo for a long time.
They got a lot smaller to the expos after that.
No video bootlegs.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And that's where everybody was making their money.
That's what you went for.
That's what I went for. Yeah.
Yep. You went there for that, and you
And
went
now
there.
looking
You
at
got a lot
YouTube,
of.
it's all over the place.
I know.
I
know. It's so sanitized anymore. It just sucks.
The first one we went to was the Ace Frehley was there at the was it the Meadowlands Hilton or something?
Yeah. It was
Ace Frehley was the special guest. Though. That was
and
the first one
it
we
was
went to.
everybody jammed in this little
It was
hotel
tiny.
ballroom, and it was like
Yep.
fucking swamped with people. But I mean, it was cool though.
Yeah.
I mean,
I met Frank Bell and Charlie Benatti at that.
Oh really?
At that one?
Yeah, they were watching.
They're Anthrax. They're huge Kiss fans. Those
That
guys.
was my first
Absolutely.
Ace Frehley autograph at that
wish I
one,
could have
so
saw
that was
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was 88 or 89.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
mean
was a
that
while
was
ago.
that was great because I mean we used to get the Kiss Vision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
remember all
VHS
those?
tapes,
VHS,
the
yeah.
VHS tapes,
Yeah.
and we used to be dying. We went the one year, then they had the second volume. The next year, I think they had
Yeah.
and,
The
you know,
Kissology.
Yeah,
Kiss Vision.
what we would do is we would go to these Kiss expos or conventions, and we would go down. We'd have a car full of beer, so we'd get there. We'd have a couple beers. We'd go in. We'd check out everything and. We'd split up in there, then we'd come back outside, have some more beers, talk about what we saw. Okay, I'm going to get this one.
I'm gonna
you
get this
that
one.
and we'll get this
We'd
one.
make copies
so
for
we
each
pretty
other
much
and-
have everything covered of what we wanted to get. And it was, it was great. We used to do it every year. Then it got into where we would go down either the night of and stay over that night or the night before. And
They started
go
having
home.
bands and
There
there was a Van
it was
Halen
great.
tribute band at one of them.
Yeah, ZO2 they played there a
Yeah,
couple
ZO2,
times.
yeah.
Couple different Kiss tribute bands played there
Yeah.
also. It was
a
great.
great time.
It was excellent. They started small, then they got bigger, then they took the bootleg shit off, and it just boom, it just kind of imploded. And then that's when Kiss came in and started doing their own conventions. We talked about it before. We all kind of dropped the ball. None of us went to any of those shows.
Yeah.
Which, man, we should.
I wish I went to the New York
you know,
one. I don't know how I didn't go to
we
that
didn't.
one.
We just did not.
$100 for a ticket and 90
hit
some.
Yeah, that was true
that
too.
was-
That was true too.
Yeah.
That was
That was
a lot
pricey
of money
back then.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, now that's cheap for even a fucking concert ticket,
Yeah.
let alone going
Yeah.
to see them play acoustic in a friggin' ballroom.
Right.
Yep.
That'll be 300.
300.
At least well, it's like what is it? It's $1,250 for a meet and greet now at a Kiss show, and you get the
Yeah.
acoustic show and the meet and greet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You look back and you're going, wow, $100 in kind of a
Probably,
bargain.
yeah, should have went to that.
I know,
right?
probably should have went.
Now, did you meet them for the $100?
I didn't go.
Oh,
No, I
No,
decided
I don't
not
think
to
you
go.
met
No, I don't
No.
think so
They
either.
just played
They
acoustic on
played and they
stage.
did a Q&A
They
too.
did a
Yeah.
Q&A.
They did a
Right.
Q&A
Oh,
and,
okay.
and they played.
And I'm sure they had some really just insightful and impactful questions during those
of
Q&As.
course.
Yeah.
They're all about the ground balls.
course.
Oh God.
How long does it
But
take you to put the makeup on?
but you know
Yeah.
what? If you go back and watch the videos from those shows, there was no screening of anything. They just hand you the mic,
Right.
And you're
Yep.
asking a question.
You can
It's
ask
not
what you
like
want.
when we get to the end of the show, we'll talk a little bit about the Kiss Cruise that myself, Rob, and Chris went on last year. There was no screening of anything. The mic's in your hand and you're asking a question, and they're kind of on the spot to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike nowadays. Everything is so filtered. They don't want to answer the hard questions. They just want they want the grounders. They want the grounders. They want the wiffle ball grounders. Not even like the hard ball or softball grounders. They want the wiffle ball roll to them.
Well, even at these conventions, the acoustic songs, some of them they would just off the cuff. Somebody would request a song, like they did a version.
they would
of
try
Let's
it.
put the X
Yeah.
in sex with this
Yeah.
12-year-old girl.
Yeah.
They just played it. It was
There's some good
loose and-
parenting right there.
Yes.
Your daughter's singing, let's put the X in sex. Your 12-year-old daughter with a rock band.
And I think like the 8-year-old son was playing drums
Playing
on
drums,
these
Played for
songs,
like
yeah.
Do You Love Me or something. But I mean, they did some really cool. I guess then pretty much try anything. Now they're just. I'm sorry, folks, but I think Kiss is fucking lazy these days.
cookie
I
cutter
really do.
stuff. Just
Still love them to death, but I think they're lazy. So what I'm leading up to here is out of the conventions out in LA, I believe it was, Peter Criss contacted them and he wanted his daughter to see the band that he was in and everything. And Gene and Paul, I think they finally did something right. They sent the limo for Peter and his daughter, and they got there, and then he got up and he did a couple songs with them. And then I think that was the kind of spark, the main spark. A reunion was going to happen no matter what, I think. I think it was going to.
It was
come about.
inevitable.
It was.
It was gonna
It
happen.
was, but I think
Yeah.
that was the beginning catalyst for it to
Right.
kind of get the ball rolling.
Yep.
And then at that time, MTV was still big, playing fucking music. I don't know who approached them to do the Kiss Unplugged.
I don't know, but they were doing a series of Unplugged already.
Yeah.
It's not like Kiss was the first one. So.
Oh no! They were
Right. So
they
it's
were-
a show that they
right.
had.
It was already
going.
an ongoing show.
Yeah.
They were just one of the bands that they did get to do it. So then they did, and I'm not really sure how it came about, but Ace and Peter were invited to play. And if you look at the what was it, the video series, The Second Coming, correct? Was it?
The rehearsal.
Kiss, it had the
with them,
rehearsals
yeah.
and stuff. And
it was on Kissology too, like the.
yeah. Hey,
it was
Pete.
Hi, Pete.
I think a lot of that was like so staged, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
It
they had
was,
problems in between that. Because for a while they started, then they stopped, and then they all came back again.
Yeah.
Well, because I guess they were going back and forth with lawyers and stuff,
Right, right,
about
right.
what was going to take place, and
Yeah.
instead of four guys sitting down talking, they were doing their talking through their lawyers and shit.
Right.
I think that's what ended up happening.
Yeah.
Took away from it.
But
Which is a shame, but
yeah,
what are you gonna do?
So they got everything back together. Ace and Peter they come, and they were, and Kiss was a pretty well-oiled acoustic machine by then, I think, from
Yeah.
playing all those shows.
Absolutely.
So it was pretty much just really Ace and Peter had to kind of get their chops back. Because I don't, was it Ace and Peter, were they doing that Bad Boys tour at that time? Because I know they were doing a Bad Boys tour, but it seemed like neither one of them really had a lot of chops when they first got back together doing this acoustic stuff. Because I think
It might have been right around the same time. I can't remember either.
because
but
I think
it was-
Gene and Paul and Eric and Bruce, they were firing on all cylinders. They were tight as an acoustic band, because I mean they had done.
It was June of 1995 that they were on that tour, so it was around that.
So it
time.
was right around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unplugged was 96.
So I mean,
So it was.
if anybody is listening out there and you've seen any of those Bad Boys shows, let us know what you guys thought of it. I didn't think to, just for time's sake, to not look that up.
That would have been cool to see, though, just to
It
see
would have
those
been.
two guys.
Oh, absolutely,
playing
absolutely.
together. That
I was
would've been
listening
nice.
to one of the other podcasts. I forget what it was, and someone said that it might have been Lonnie from Kiss FAQ, and him and his brother went to see the Ace show, and I'll have to listen to it again. He said how it was, but I can't remember if it was good or bad. But it was around that, so I don't even know why I mentioned it. So now they're doing getting ready to do this show. They taped it in New York City, and they did. I'm looking at the set list that they actually did. They did 21 songs. The songs that were on the album were "Coming Home," "Plaster Caster," "Going Blind," "Do You Love Me," "Domino," "Sure Know Something," "Roll Without Heroes," "Rock Bottom," "See You Tonight," "I Still Love You," "Every Time I Look at You," 2000 Man, "Beth," "Nothing to Lose," and "Rock and Roll All Night." But some of the other songs that weren't on there, there's a version of "Got to Choose" on the Kiss box set, which is friggin' excellent. What else we got here? "Heaven's on Fire," "Spit." There you go, Chris. They did "Spit."
The hillbilly version of
Hillbilly version of "God of Thunder." "Come On and Love Me." I would love to hear "Come On and Love Me" acoustic. I mean, that is such a great. I think that's one of the songs that would translate great. So, BC, thoughts on the Kiss Unplugged?
I liked it when it first came out. I mean, but it was weird. It was good to see Ace and Peter back, and that was the first time that the original guys performed together without makeup.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true.
My favorite probably is "Rock Bottom" on there.
Yes.
Just the way it kicks in, it just gives you a chill
it
when
is good.
when it starts up.
Speaking of chills, I always consistently get chills when I listen to "Nothing to Lose" on there. I don't know why I love this version so much, but
Sing it for the cat, man!
Yeah. But that's cool because all six of them sing.
yeah, and like
Right.
You know?
I don't know, like
That's
the
cool.
drums, like you can feel both of them playing, and like they trade off the vocals, and they just like there's just such a like coming together in that song that just
Like even
They were all like a big happy family. They moved all back into the Kiss mansion together. It's awesome.
I even think
Good night, Peter.
the version of Beth on this is good.
yeah.
It's tolerable.
But it's better than the original.
And like you can
wait,
you
It
can
is
feel
better than the original.
you know,
you can feel Peter being like excited that he's back with the band. Like he has this like
Right.
this energy to him that
But he's so excited that when he sings "Rock and Roll All Night," when he comes in, he's so out of time.
Won't you let me in?
It's just he's so out of time the way he sings it. He's not. You know what I mean? It
Yeah,
drives
yeah.
me crazy. I have to skip that song every time because
But
he
you know
ruins
what?
the song.
I like when Ace sings the part, his part.
Yes,
in that song.
but he sings it in time.
I know.
You know what I mean? Peter he can't. Oh, that I have to skip
He was
that
too
song.
excited. He was too
As soon as
excited.
he starts singing, then I hit.
It's like the guy that
Skip.
wears the rubber to his first date, you know?
You're not supposed to do that?
I don't know.
2000.
Chris, what's your thoughts on Unplugged?
I think "Going Blind" is probably the best song on there for me. I think Gene's bass tone is really good on that one.
Bass sounds monster on that.
It does. I think it's the best that I've ever heard him.
Yeah.
yeah, like on like the intro to Plaster Caster, like such a
Yeah.
He
good
plays his
sound.
ass off on that whole record. He really does.
He does. I don't like "See You Tonight." I think they could have did something different.
Yeah.
than
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
If you look at these songs, I'm just looking at the set list here. I could pick "Coming Home," "Plaster Caster," even "I Still Love You," "Nothing to Lose." I actually like the unplugged versions on this album better than the original.
better than the originals.
Yeah.
Coming Home is
There's
great.
quite a
Coming
few.
Home,
really
like on "Hotter Than Hell."
I
is
have
just
I have
like
7 marked.
I
that are
agree.
better than the
torturous.
originals.
Yeah,
Paul's voice on this album,
sounds great.
I don't think he's sounded better on any album ever than this album. Listen to him sing "I Still Love You" on there.
Yeah.
And you guys know, you guys here and you guys out there listening, you guys know that I am not a ballad guy. But Paul Stanley sings his fucking ass off on this album. I'm gonna give you he's my MVP. I'm doing this now, but I'll let everyone else go later. Just that I'm talking about it. Paul Stanley is my MVP on there, and it's just he's off the scale on this. I don't think he's ever sang as good since then.
I think everybody's vocals across the board, like the harmonies on this record,
Unbelievable.
amazing.
Yeah, I mean, just it's
You knew
actually
something
one of
good
my
was going to
favorite
come
Kiss
out.
albums now. After listening to this album, prepping for this show, it's great. I don't even skip the shitty songs.
Because
I
even
don't
the
like.
shitty songs are good on this.
Yeah.
I remember when that came on TV. It was on Halloween night.
Halloween night.
We were sitting in a bar watching, and I'm like, "Oh my God, the Kiss is on. The Unplugged is coming on right now." We were at the Vintage up in Simpson. And it came on, and I was like, "We're not leaving until this is over." And it was awesome. It was really cool.
BC, were you watching that with me at my house?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were watching it at my house, and
Drink
by
your
at that
Pepsi.
point, you didn't know Ace and Peter were coming out.
Right.
Ace and Peter come out. I looked at BC and said, "They're going to be here. They're going to be back together. They're going to be a reunion."
I said the same thing.
There's going to be. I said,
'Cause
"This
me
is
and-
it right here."
Me and Dougal were at the
Yep.
Vintage, and I go, "They're getting back together after this." And he just looked at me. I said, "Mark my words.
Yep.
There's going to be a reunion.
Yep.
It's going to happen."
Yeah, that was the night where they were writing the big letters on the wall. Reunion.
Yep.
It was going to happen anyways, but
Yeah.
that was the final nail in the Bruce and Eric Singer version of the band. Chris, your overall thoughts on Unplugged?
Seems to me that they were having a good time when they were recording that. I think Paul was phenomenal on it again. But I would have to say that Gene really is my MVP on that one.
Okay, song?
Going Blind.
Blind?
Yeah, I think that was always one of my favorite Gene songs, and when they played that, I didn't expect to hear it. I think they really did a good job on that record.
Cool. BB.
Well, I gotta go with Chris, but I'm gonna go with Ty. I'm gonna go with Ty with Gene and his vocals, and the way that Bruce played that steel guitar, the strings just sounded so cool.
Yeah.
Like Gene's vocals on Plaster Caster, Going Blind, and Domino blow the original songs out of the water. And then with that steel string guitar that Bruce was using, just a really cool tone to it. Out of all the old albums we're talking about tonight, definitely my favorite.
Okay. Song?
Song, Going Blind. Definitely.
We got two Going Blinds. Rob.
I'm going to go, Paul is probably my star on that one. His vocals, like you said, are fantastic. Rock Bottom is incredible. I just love the way that just kicks in. Yeah. And then boom, and it kicks in. But, I mean, I do like 2000 Man. Ace
2000
is
Man
in
is
there,
very
and
good.
it's just a cool version of it. But I'd say Paul is probably my guy on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your song's Rock Bottom?
Rock Bottom, definitely my favorite.
BC.
You gotta stick with Rob here. Paul Stanley, like you said, he was probably at the top of his game on this recording. Could do no wrong in my book, but I'm gonna go with "I Still Love You." I mean, he just
Wow.
Okay.
You see, going sentimental.
I know. And we do still love you,
Yeah,
BC.
we still love you, BC.
Okay, Dylan, go ahead.
I was gonna say Gene because I think his voice sounds phenomenal. He sings these songs so well, and the bass is amazing. But since everybody else did, I'm gonna go with Peter because he outperformed my expectations, and I think
That is true.
I just threw up in my mouth.
you're
I
joking,
think
right?
his,
But listen, I like your point.
I think his vocal performances on Beth and Nothing to Lose are some of the best work he's done, especially Nothing to Lose. And you can't discount the excitement, even though he jumped the gun.
I'm
on
gonna
Rock
say
and Roll
he
Done.
gets the
Rock and Roll
he gets
Night, I
the
can't get over that.
he gets the
premature.
most excited guy of the night award. That's for sure.
Song wise, I love Nothing to Lose, but like Coming Home and Plaster Caster are both just phenomenal as well. So I'll give it a 3-way tie between Coming Home, Nothing to Lose, and Plaster Caster.
And I said before, I'm going with Paul Stanley. But, however, I'm going to go with the song Plaster Caster. Even though Paul doesn't sing it, it's a song that I like. I think that just the bass in the beginning is so badass.
And the solos great in it, the
It's
harmonies.
just, it's phenomenal. And I'm pretty much neck and neck with BB that this may be my favorite album that we're going to discuss tonight. It's one of them things that you
Once you
haven't
go
heard
back
in a
and listen
while,
to it.
and you listen to it and you're like, wow, like why am I not listening to this all the time? And I do agree with Rob. I think 2000 Man, that's another song that I definitely prefer that version other than the one that's on Dynasty. And
And the Stones version.
oh my God,
Stones
you guys ever
version's
hear
not
that
great.
version?
Yeah,
BC, did you ever hear it?
it's not good.
Chris,
Oh yeah.
BB,
It's a little weird.
it's
no good.
It's
out
terrible.
there.
It's on their
it's
weirdest
not- it's
album,
not good.
too.
So, okay, so we're a little bit divided. Although I'm going to say Eric Singer is a close second MVP for that, just because
Yeah, he is.
he carries that album pretty good drum-wise.
Yeah, absolutely.
He really does, and it's a great sound.
And you actually watch the video for that whole show, it's just like he's breathing. And he's just,
And it's tough tough to
he's-
play drums on acoustic because you don't want to overpower the instruments, and I think he finds that balance.
But I mean, even
pretty
now,
well.
if you watch some of the Kiss meet and greets and stuff where Eric's playing, like he's just like breathing. It's just so natural. He's so smooth. It's like effortless him playing.
Yeah.
You know, you watch some drummers and it's like you can see they're trying to. You know, the hamster's running on the wheel trying to fucking keep time. But like Eric is just so smooth. I think he's my close second in MVP. And so now reunions in the works. The next time Kiss is seen, I believe, is at the Grammys in full Kiss Alive 2 outfits with Tupac, I believe.
Tupac.
Yes,
And they didn't say anything, correct? They just
walked on
stood
stage.
there, right? And then they
did a
posed
lot
for
of-
pictures, and then they left.
Yep.
So right then, that was the absolute confirmation that this is it. This is definitely happening.
This is happening.
Reunion tour goes. All of us here. No, you haven't, right, BB?
the reunion, yes.
Oh,
I
you
did-
saw a reunion
I did
too?
see the reunion. Madison Square Garden.
Oh, okay. Oh, so we all did, except for Dylan.
Except me. I did
Where
not.
were you?
Dylan was like a year old, I think,
I
right?
was,
2 years old.
I was still learning how to live.
No excuse.
Outside of
This is that is the show when Ace came out with a guitar strap with his picture on it, and I said to the guys that I was with, I'm like, that's not Ace. And he blew me away. I'm like, this is definitely not Ace. Like,
Why?
why
'Cause
would
he was actually good?
he was like
Sorry.
one step up,
I don't know what that means.
one
I don't know
step
either.
better than normal Ace. I'm like, this is not Ace. Like, why would Ace come out with a guitar strap with his picture on it? Have you ever seen Ace with his?
Yeah, he used to wear a pin of himself from like the '78
Like-
show.
Like, you know, he, like the guitar strap, he had like the lightning bolts, like the flash lightning bolts.
Right.
So it went up to about here, and then right on the top, right at his shoulder, it was like a picture of his solo album from '78. I'm like, when I saw him, like, that's not Ace.
How far away were you?
Probably the 200 level, but less than halfway.
They had screens. I don't know. We'll have to look back on that.
Okay, so we all, with the exception of Dylan, who was still in the crib at that point, went to see the reunion tour. Chris, BC, and myself went to the same show. We were on the same bus. Chris doesn't remember, but I do because
How do you not forget
because the
that
bus
movie
trip
Copycat?
absolutely
Come on.
fucking sucked.
It did.
We watched the movie Copycat on the way down to the show.
Where was that? Where'd you go?
Philly. We were there the night after you went down.
Oh, that's right.
Should've
Because it
watched
was
one
a
of the
three,
Gene movies.
Three nights.
night?
3 nights, yeah.
Should have watched one of the
That's
right.
movies on the bus.
The bus trip was horrible, absolutely horrible. Everyone else went in the show. BC and myself and our friend's brother that went with us stayed with us. And then Chris and his buddies stayed on the bus. We all stayed and partied.
PJ, right?
PJ and Maurice, maybe.
I think it was PJ and Morris.
So
I don't even know.
Chris is
It was
racking his
def-
brain.
It was definitely PJ.
Yeah.
I think Maurice was the third.
So anyway, so we were all at the same show in Philadelphia. I enjoyed the show. It was cool. Very, very, hey, we had decent seats. We were right across from the stage on the first upper level, I think.
Yeah.
And it was a good show. I mean, you could tell Peter Criss was
Excited to be
struggling.
there.
He was a little less excited, I think, because they had played half the tour. And actually, before we get on that, Chris, you were at the Detroit show.
Yes, I
Tell
was.
us about that real quick.
Drove 12 hours out to Detroit and
Is this the Tiger Stadium show?
Tiger Stadium show.
Wow.
Yep. And right before they came on, who runs right by us but Sebastian Bach
Oh, yeah?
jumped over the railing and ran through the crowd and went right up front.
What's going on?
Even an asshole back then.
Yeah. He was at a lot of shows, actually, that I went to on that reunion tour. He was at a few of them, yeah.
That is neat.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
Well, they weren't doing much back then.
say that place just had to be electric, though, when you were getting ready for them to come on. Like the first show.
Well, it was a
reunion.
lifetime dream since I was 7 years old. So it was like
Yeah.
I waited 20 years to see them in
To see
makeup.
the makeup back on with Ace
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
And Peter.
And then
But
then
to see
Detroit.
the back, I was like, oh,
You know.
my God. Yeah.
And it was the lights went out and the helicopters were flying over and it was just Like the energy was just unbelievable.
Had to be crazy.
It was.
And
It was.
And really up to that point, up until Unplugged, you kind of really never thought you were going to get to see that again.
No.
Right.
I thought
You
it was
didn't
never
really
going to happen.
think it would have happened. Like we talked about before about the Unplugged, like, okay, it's going to happen, and then the other shit leading up to it, then you knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But until you were in them seats at an arena for them getting ready to come on, you're like, I can't believe this is fucking
Right.
happening.
Yeah.
You're just like, holy fuck.
Kid in a candy
You
store.
know?
Now, for me, it was the first time I saw them. They just took their makeup off. It was Lick It Up tour.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, it was exciting, but it was like, I'll never see them with their makeup on.
Right.
And then to see them
Like
with
you
their
just
makeup
missed
on, it was like, yeah, I just missed the Creatures. I was gonna go to Creatures, and it didn't happen. My sister was gonna take me.
It was like a snowstorm
It
or
was
something,
Rochester
right?
or something. It was somewhere up, New York State.
Yep.
And my sister was going to take me. I wasn't old enough to drive, couldn't go, and I was so bummed. So then I got to see Lick It Up, and they took the makeup off. It was just a whole
Still
different
had the tank,
thing.
everything but the makeup.
Yeah. So then when this came around, I was like, it was so exciting, so exciting.
It was because the day that we went, we partied all day. We started partying like 11 o'clock in the fucking morning. The bus didn't leave till 4. So we were well lubricated by the time we got on the bus. But it wasn't like you weren't so fucking hammered where you didn't know what was going on. We were just maintained.
Yeah. You never
enough
want to do that
enjoy.
because
No.
why waste your
Yeah,
money?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
we
see,
just
you
didn't
never
get
wanna
like
do that.
hammered. We were
BC, you never want to do
we were
that.
in good shape, but we
Got
weren't
roofied.
roofied. At that
Roofie,
point.
damn it.
But just it's hard to describe to someone that has not been a Kiss fan for that long the excitement and the holy fuckness of it.
Yeah.
I cried in Detroit.
You know? Did you?
Yeah, I really did.
Because
I
we
may
were-
have teared up a
we
little
were
bit.
kids when it started, and just to see your posters on the wall come to life
Yep.
was amazing.
Yep.
Because you never thought you were going to get to see it.
Never,
Right,
Yeah.
sure.
they come out with those costumes, and you're like, wow, this is my bedroom coming to life on
and
stage.
I mean, and back in them days, I mean, you just because there wasn't videos, there
Right.
was no YouTube,
Right.
So every picture you saw, every album cover, you studied the shit out of that. You were just looking, what
You knew everything.
what
I
what
used
do they
to
have
stare
on?
at Alive
You
too,
know,
Yep.
and
just
like
stare at
and
it.
remember the Ace had the real Alive 2, the really shiny
Yeah.
thing.
That
You
was-
never saw that.
No, that
though.
was his photo one, because it would rip too easy. He only used it for photos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, see, I never knew
It was-
why that
yeah,
was.
it would
but it
rip
was the
too
coolest
easy.
looking
Yeah,
one,
it
though,
was
because it was
absolutely.
so shiny.
Yep.
It was very cool. I never knew that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
That's cool. So, reunion tour, awesome. So, now everyone's thinking, what's next? I'm going to say probably maybe halfway through, they may have been thinking about doing an album. But you got to realize at that time also that Ace and Peter, they were just employees. They were not band members. They were getting paid to play these shows. And if you believe, I don't know if it was Ace's book or I think it was Peter's book because he complained the most about the reunion tour. I believe Peter was getting paid $20,000 a show and Ace was getting paid $50,000 a show. And I guess it was a subject that really wasn't brought up, and it got brought up by accident maybe or something. And Peter was like, "What
Peter
the fuck?"
found out, yeah.
And then freaked out. And if you read Paul's book, Peter got really weird during the tour, putting tinfoil on his fucking windows in his hotel rooms and stuff, all kinds of crazy shit.
He was angry.
Not a happy camper. And I guess his, I don't know if it was his wife at the time or girlfriend. I guess she didn't help matters. I guess she was.
Yeah.
Always in his ear.
Stirring the pot.
You're as
Stoking
good
the
as
fire.
these guys,
Stirring
stirring it up there.
Yeah.
Stoking
And,
the fire there.
But in between the reunion tour and when they put out Psycho Circus, they put out a compilation. You wanted the best, you got the best, which pretty much contains songs from Alive and Alive 2. And then there's 4 new, in quotations, live songs that they found out of their archives or the vault or whatever you want to call it. And Room Service, 2-timer, Let Me Know and Take Me. And then if you listen to them, they're absolutely re-recorded songs.
Yeah.
I mean, they sound cool. I mean, they're cool
Yeah.
versions of the songs, but they're just
They're not live.
They're not live. They're just studio reproductions.
They're live-ish.
It's cool to hear.
They're live in a studio.
Yeah. I mean, they were, because if you look on the thing, it has where they were. Let me borrow your thing here, Chris. Room Service was previously unreleased, recorded in Davenport, Iowa, 1975, and then overdubs in early mid 1996. Two-timer, previously unreleased, recorded at Cobo Hall, Detroit, Michigan, in May 16th, 1975. Overdubs, early mid 1996. Let Me Know, previously unreleased, same date as Two-timer. Overdubs, early to mid 1996. And then you have Rock Bottom Parasite, Firehouse, Calling Dr. Love, from Alive and Alive 2. Then you have Take Me, previously unreleased, recorded in Los Angeles, California, 1977. Overdubs early, mid-1996. And then it rounds it out with Shout Out Loud, Beth, Rock and Roll Night. And then there's a 17-minute interview with Jay Leno on the end that's kind of senseless. But I think Take Me is pretty much maybe the closest to a live version that they got, because they actually did play that song on the Alive 2 tour. And if anyone's vinyl people out there, there was a misprint of Kiss Alive 2. On the back it has Take Me, Hooligan, Do You Love Me, and I think there's one more song that's a misprint on the back of Alive 2 when it came out. I remember we were at a birthday party at my friend's house, and he got Kiss Alive 2 for his birthday, and we pull it out. We look on the back, so then we put it on. We're like, well, where's Hooligan and where's Take Me? They weren't on there, And back then, you didn't give a shit. I don't know what they're worth now, but I mean, it's a misprint on an album, so I'm sure it's worth something. But back to what I was saying, I think Take Me may be the closest to something that they actually may have doctored instead of totally re-recorded in the studio. Thoughts on them, real quick, guys?
No. Take Me, I think, is probably, like you said, the best sounding one, because all the other ones, everybody had them. Everybody's got them.
Yeah, that's like
same versions.
Your first four,
Yeah.
They never had Room Service out there with, it's a good tune, and that was like a surprise. You're like, wow, like you're gonna start your album.
It sounds
off with
great,
this.
though.
It sounds
Room Service does sound good. I mean, Let Me Know is one of my favorite Kiss songs of all time. I would really like an actual live version at some point, but that probably won't happen because I think they forgot that song existed, except that one time on the Kiss cruise they played it. But besides that, I love it. That song is so cool. Like the trading off vocal, the first song that Gene and Paul traded off vocals.
Right.
And
it is a good song.
I absolutely love that song.
Yeah, I love when they trade off vocals. I love when they both sing in the same song.
So good.
Yeah, I do too. It's something they should bring back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, not a lot of substance on that album. I think it was something they just threw out there just to keep the public's interest. And then reunion tour's done. And at this point, we are going to go into our hidden gems. And this week's hidden gems will start out with Mr. BB.
Alrighty. This week, my hidden gem. We're going to do a whole CD. It's going to be from Pretty Boy Floyd. It was released in 2010. It is called Kiss of Death. And for nobody who knows that,
I got that.
it is a Pretty Boy Floyd album covering all Kiss songs.
I have it.
And it's really, really cool version. If you like the way Pretty Boy Floyd sings, it's a really, really good spin on some really classic Kiss songs. So go out there and pick that up if you're a Kiss fan. Hopefully you guys know of this, but really cool album called Kiss of Death.
Chris, you're up, buddy.
My hidden gem is from a band called Brighton Rock out of Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. They did a acoustic cover of Creatures of the Night.
Really?
Yes. And they slowed it down. The guy is actually playing like bongos.
Get out.
It is really, really out of this world.
Never said it. Like Dark Light?
Not necessarily, but
Okay.
but it is definitely
Slower bongos.
It is a very, very cool version of it.
We'll have to check that out. Do me a favor, post that on our Facebook page, will you?
I will.
Okay. BC.
It's not so. It might not be so hidden. It might not be so old, but Stone Sour from their new album, Hydrograd. Someone Stole My Eyes. Just, they don't make music like that anymore, unfortunately.
Rob, what do you got?
I don't have a hidden gem music-wise, but I have a hidden gem trivia.
Wow.
Or we talked about God Gave Rock and Roll to You Too before, right? And what I didn't know, for the movie version, Steve Vai actually does the solo intro. It's a 40-second solo that he does instead of Kiss. And the Kiss does the rest of the song, but Steve Vai does the solo going into it, which I did not know that.
The soundtrack version?
Yeah,
Right.
'cause
For the movie version, yeah.
I think he's in
It's
the
a
movie.
40
I think BB's going to have to look that
It's a
up, and he's going to have to
40-second
post that for us.
40-second Steve Vai. So.
Wow.
Excellent. Dylan.
Well, I was originally going to do Stone Sour's version of Love Gun, but I didn't want
BC fucked it
BC to. I didn't want BC to feel left out. So I'm doing a song that Kiss only played once. They played it at Six Flags Magic Mountain, and it's called "Rip and Destroy." And it almost caused it almost caused a riot, but it turns out it wasn't actually Kiss. It was a robotic copy. So "Rip and Destroy" is my
Nice.
That was actually
Nice.
pretty cool in the movie you're watching.
Yeah, it was.
One of the only cool parts on the movie.
They were originally supposed to write like a separate song, but they didn't have time, or they felt lazy or something, so they just changed the lyrics.
Kiss
to
being
Hotter Than
lazy?
Hell.
That can't be. That can't be. All right, Rip and Destroy live from Magic Mountain.
Oh my God, that's funny.
I am going to pick, this is going to be my hidden gem for the week, and it's going to be extremely Kiss related, and it's going to be the Black Sabbath album called Seventh Star that Eric Singer played the drums on. It's kind of an under the radar Black Sabbath album. It was originally supposed to be a Tony Iommi solo album, but I guess they figured it wouldn't sell as much. It was Tony Iommi, so they put Black Sabbath. I think it's actually slated as Tony Iommi's Black Sabbath. Their Black Sabbath
right.
featuring Tony Iommi, and Eric Singer plays the drums on that. He's on that with Glenn Hughes sings on it. Dave Spitz plays bass on there. Jeff Nichols on keyboard, of course. Tony Iommi on guitar. Really good album, solid. Songs like "In for the Kill," "No Stranger Love" is kind of a ballady song, which is kind of strange for Black Sabbath, but very cool song. "Heart Like the Wheel" I think is the best song on there. So you guys check that out. Check out all the ones we said here. BB's going to post Rob's 40-second intro by Steve Vai. We'll post BC's Stone Sour song. Rip and Destroy will get out there. Chris's Creatures of the Night, and I will post something from Seventh Star. So we're going to jump right back into the Kiss discussion here. Now, this album was recorded early 1995 to 1996, but it was not. This was kind of being recorded when the reunion stuff was starting to ramp up, and it was pretty much a done album. But Bruce Kulick went back, I guess, with Toby Wright, who was the producer, and finished up everything on the album. And it's the album Carnival of Souls.
Your cousin, Toby Wright.
No relation. No
Okay.
relation.
You never know.
Well, he says he's related to me. So,
Oh, okay.
You know.
True.
And he was actually, Toby Wright was one of the producers on the producers panel at the Rock and Pod Expo this year, and he talked a little bit about recording with Kiss, and I believe that whole panel is on the Decibel Geek podcast on one of their shows, and you guys can check that out. It's very interesting. Him and Michael Wagner on there talking about different albums and bands that they worked with, and he did talk some about Kiss and Carnival of Souls. Carnival of Souls, it was actually released on October 28th, 1997. Thoughts on this album? I'm gonna start out with Chris.
I appreciate it more now than I did back when it came out. Master and Slave and In the Mirror, probably my two favorite songs. It's definitely a change from what we're used to with Kiss, but every album seems to be a little bit of a change. And it's actually not bad. Like I said, I appreciate it now more than I did back when it first came out. I actually like it now.
BC.
I was totally on board with this album from when it came out.
Day one.
Day one, I was like, yes. It was just such a darker Kiss, I guess you could say. I mean, I don't think there's, maybe out of 12 tunes, there's two I can kind of do without.
Which two are they?
I Will Be There, and It Never Goes Away. It just seems like it never goes.
Okay.
Those two songs just kind of, I don't know, lack something. I can't pinpoint it, but The rest of the album, I think, is great. And even had Bruce Kulick doing lead vocals on a song, which is totally different for Kiss. Hell, Bruce Kulick, he played half the bass guitar in the whole goddamn album.
Very true.
He played bass on Rain, I Will Be There, Jungle, It Never Goes Away, In the Mirror, and I'll Walk Alone. He played bass on. So that's my question. Where the hell is Gene?
Well, so that kind of knocks Gene out as the MVP on this album.
I think so. Gene, your guy.
Rob, your thoughts?
Like Chris, it took a while to grow on me. It took a little bit. I mean, I like it though.
Because it was so dark?
Yeah, at first because it was so
different
than Kiss. But it slowly grew on me. I like it. It's not one of my favorites, but I do listen to it more now than I did then. And like Master and Slave, probably the best song on there. The scream in the middle, fantastic. Yes, great. Jungle, another good one. And Bruce does rock his song. I mean,
he does.
It's a good album. It's really
being
growing on me a lot. And the bass is fantastic on it as well.
Bruce kicked ass with it.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, BB.
Well, I guess I'm on an island because I think I Walk Alone. I think that's the worst song on the album.
Ooh.
I really do. I think
that's not right.
Bruce can rip it up. I'll give him that. You know, no doubt about it. He can melt those strings, but I don't know. I can't get through his vocals. I can't. I'm glad they put it last because it's once you get there, oh, good, I'm done. Because I don't have to skip over anymore.
He sings better than Tommy Thayer, that's for sure.
And that's another one. You said it never goes away. I think Paul Stanley's vocals on that song is fucking phenomenal.
I want to see you two fight.
We're gonna go Rage in the Cage too.
Rage in the Cage, bitch.
Like Rob, Master and Slave, Rain, In the Mirror, awesome tune. But what really killed this album is the reunion tour. If you think about it, it came out when the reunion tour was going. Everybody's all about the makeup, and nobody cared about this one. They only released this because all the bootleggers out there got sucked out there.
Yeah,
and everybody's downloaded it right around Napster came around, probably right around 97-ish.
There's no tour or
nothing. So people are downloading it, so they released it just to make a couple bucks.
Yeah.
But it was overshadowed by the reunion tour. I honestly, this is a phenomenal album. Other than I Walk Alone, other than Bruce's song, fantastic. So like I said, I'm on an island alone. I hate that song. I can't get through it.
No,
I'm walking alone on that one.
You are.
You are
walking
I'm with you. I don't care for it all.
Okay.
I was actually listening to this album last night, and when I Walk Alone came on, and I thought the opposite of what BB thought. I was thinking they should have stuck that song somewhere in the middle of the album. I don't think it was a good ending song.
Well, yeah, I agree with that.
Particularly care for the vocals, but I like the way he sang it. He didn't try to over-sing it or like scream or anything like that. He was
right.
You could tell he wasn't really comfortable behind the mic.
Yeah.
But the main thing about that song is I think the solo in that is not great because it has that weird. There's some kind of weird effect on the solo on that song that kind of I think ruins it. I don't hate it. I'm not really in love with it. I think it's a good album, and I agree with Chris that and Rob that I do appreciate it more now than when it first came out. And I wish that they originally went with the original cover they were supposed to have, the head with the scalp off and the fire coming out of the head and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And for you guys that are out there listening, you would have seen that picture. I posted a picture of that on our Facebook page, what the original cover was supposed to be. And I think it's a lot better than them, the four of them just kind of stand like dopes in the studio. But I don't hate the album. Another song, two really studio albums in a row where Gene has the opening song, Hate. Another, decent opening song. The drums are really good on that. Eric Singer, I think, brings it pretty good. A total different feel for a Kiss album.
For Kiss, yes.
Childhood's End is pretty cool. I really like Seduction of the Innocent. I like the melody of that song. I really do.
I do too.
I really like that. Jungle, like Rob said before, the extended solo into that is really cool. And for those of you out there that have ever heard Bruce's band with John Corabi, Union, that came out after this came out. They have a live album called Live in the Galaxy, I believe it's called, and there's a version of Jungle on there, and the solo is even more extended in that, and it's just a great song. If I was to rate this album on like a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it about maybe a 7, 6.5, 7. It's not my least favorite Kiss album, but it's definitely not in my top 10.
I think it loses points for being trendy. It's a very like of the time album.
It was. It was the music of the time. Yeah.
Because Kiss, like when they tried to be trendy, they kind of fall flat. Like when they tried to give it a little disco flair and Dynasty, some of that was a little.
That's one of the things that aggravates me about Kiss. In the 70s when they came out, they were the guys that people were copying. They were the guys that were leading the charge. Once the original guys were gone or on their way out, I will say. I love Dynasty. I think it's a great album. I really enjoy it. But that was the first album that not all the guys, Peter only played on Dirty Living. And if you look at it, what was the last album they all played on? Probably Love Gun, right? After that, this downward spiral began, and then they started to follow trends after Love Gun. And it continued, unfortunately.
Yeah.
When we did the episode before about other Kiss albums, and we read, 1980 when Unmasked came out, like Heaven and Hell was out, and Van Halen, Women and Children first, and then you have like Kiss Unmasked that was like a pop album, like
they were following
guys, like and you could say the same pretty much about Carnival of Souls. I think that they were trying to be something that they weren't. I think they try to get even darker and heavier than Revenge. If you really look at it, the only really dark song on Revenge is really Unholy.
Yeah, the rest of it's kind of...
the rest of the album is a really good hard rock album. But I think they tried to redo Unholy for like a whole fucking album here. This was in the works when the reunion stuff started and everything.
And it was the grunge scene. The grunge scene was happening then.
Yeah.
And they were trying to grab that Seattle sound.
Yeah, I think if they stuck to their guns, they would have had a more receptive album. But it's not terrible. It's more listenable than I thought it was.
And they scrapped this album, and the only reason they put it out was because fans were bootlegging it. So the whole thing screams cash grab.
Yep.
Like they're just trying to cash in on something that they weren't getting money for. And I think you can kind of feel the jadedness in the songs. It's not really a joyful album. It's just the kind of just trotting and.
Yeah, because I think even that Childhood's End is actually about Gene's friend that committed suicide.
Yes.
Yeah.
It says about leaving the note and everything.
It's very dark.
Yeah.
It's a very dark album.
Collaborated with
To me, that's not a Kiss album. That is not a...
Yeah, even
a
Kiss's
Kiss
darkest
theme.
songs have some kind of uplift to them. Like Unholy has like a sing-along kind of chorus to it. And then you have this song that's these really dark and brooding songs that aren't Kiss.
Yeah, little Jamie St. James co-wrote In My Head.
Yeah.
Ooh, black and blue action there.
And Tommy Thayer on Childhood's End. So
He, it just says collaborated. They really co-wrote.
Right.
Little black and blue.
Tommy Thayer's on a lot of these albums.
yeah.
Well, he was
his right-hand man.
He was Gene's assistant at that time,
Yeah.
And
for as
on
much people bust his balls about it, it landed him a friggin' job of a lifetime.
the
Well,
reunion
didn't he
tour.
produce all the video specials?
Yeah, he's the one that put the Kissology one stuff
Right.
together.
Yeah.
He was like the executive producer on that, but he was pretty much the guy that went into the vault or whatever.
Right.
When's there going to be a Kissology
and pulled
4?
out all the stuff for that. No tour for Carnival of Souls, because that was pretty much shot in the ass when the reunion happened. So it's pretty much just really a footnote album, because there's nothing to go along with it. There's no tour, no merchandise, no nothing, just some stories and everything like that. Back to the reunion tour, they're out there, so they got to be thinking, what are we going to do next? So they want to do an album. So, and this I think is one of the biggest scams they've pulled on their Kiss fans out there. That Kiss, they're all one happy family. Ace and Peter came back into the band. They all moved back into the Kiss mansion together and had a happy life. And they all got in the studio, wrote all these kick-ass songs, recorded them, and put them out there.
Are you saying that didn't happen?
Yes, I am. There's the fantasy world, and then there's the real world. And Kiss, I think they were trying to portray the fantasy world, but we all know that who played on this album. They only all played on Into the Void, I believe it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was the only song that they all played on. And I believe that Ace and Peter were actually paid not to play on the album, if you believe what's been said out there.
I was just gonna say, because
You know, I mean, there's just so
you start reading about this album, it's like, how much did Ace and Peter actually play on this?
Well, I kind of knew Peter didn't have much to do with it, but I
don't
never
get anything.
realized Ace didn't have that much to do with it, though.
I guess Ace brought in like 4 or 5 songs, and they were pretty much axed. And Into the Void was called something different, but that was axed right away. Then they brought it back.
It was Shaken Sharpshooter.
Shaken Sharpshooter.
Tommy
Great.
Thayer is given the credit for the guitars except for Into the Void.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Peter Criss said that the only song he did play on was "I Finally Found My Way." And that's out of his book, so.
Because he sang that song.
What do you guys think of the album? Oh, take all that shit out of there. Just
Yeah.
we're gonna delve back
Talk
into
about
the
it
fantasy world.
As an album.
As an album, what do you guys think? What's your thoughts, BB?
I enjoy it because it brings back what you're used to hearing Kiss play. The first album that they played on since whatever
77.
78-ish. So as a Kiss fan, this was enjoyable, and the songs are good. Like even though Psycho Circus seemed like it was all over the place, it was all on the radio, and it seemed like it popped up here and there on MTV. It's still kind of a catchy song. Like, it didn't overplay it. I think one of the greatest songs on there is "Dreamin'." I love "Dreamin'" on this song. And then even "You Wanted the Best," all 4 of them sing on it too. So it's kind of like
Don't tell me what to play.
kinda
It's not
wanna-
your place.
as much as a big head as Gene and Paul have, at least they tried to bring what they had back in the '70s. But
Right.
But
They tried to make you believe that.
right. Yeah.
They tried until Pete and Ace couldn't,
Said, what the fuck?
Yeah.
or they weren't up to it.
I don't know if it was so much that they couldn't do it or they weren't asked to do it.
I don't think they were welcome.
I think
to
the
do
door
it.
was shut as far as playing. We want this to be
Right.
this way, and
Gene
you
and
guys,
Paul, we are Kiss, and
Yeah.
this is what we're doing.
Yeah. And these are the songs we've written,
We're allowing you
and
to.
you're going to contribute this much, and that's it.
Rick, Paul's quoted as saying, "We tried to do a Kiss album, and it was an ill-fated attempt because there was no real band. And for a band to make a great album, it has to share a common purpose, and we didn't have it."
Right, probably because they were already arguing on the road.
Probably.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know what I mean? They couldn't get along, so
I'm sure they were sick of each other by the time.
Oh,
by then.
absolutely, absolutely.
Here's something I find fascinating. The song "Dreamin'" actually had a lawsuit against it.
Alice Cooper.
It sounds like
Yeah.
it sounds
That's
like
the best one on the
18,
album.
You said the best one on the album.
and they settled out of court,
very
in
quickly.
favor of Alice
Favor of
Cooper.
Alice Cooper, yeah. Yeah.
That's good for them.
Sorry, BC.
No.
It is, but if you listen
That's
to
what
it, you can hear 18 in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and listen to that again.
It's good.
Yeah.
Did anybody hear the Japan bonus track?
In your face.
Yeah, it's a fantastic song. Yeah,
It is. It's very good.
very good.
We will post that too. It is. It's good. It's real good.
I don't
It
know
is.
that one. But I mean, overall, the 10 tracks, I'm split in the middle. I like 5. I don't like 5.
All
Okay.
5 Paul songs?
My favorite song on the album is Within.
Yes.
I mean, that's just.
And that was written for.
I say that was a leftover from Carnival
Carnival
Souls.
Souls.
Carnival Souls.
But it's got a different vibe to it.
a little bit more.
It does.
Upbeat, a little
It does.
upbeat.
Chris, what's your thoughts here?
I really liked it. I think it's a really good album, and I would love to hear it played live. I think every song is worthy of being in a live set.
Even Peter Criss.
Yeah, for a change, something different.
He finally found his way.
I don't think that's a bad song.
I don't think it's a bad song either.
Co-written by
You
Bob
know?
Ezra.
Maybe it's
I
Peter.
think it's a pretty good song.
Pete has a good voice.
Yeah.
He sang it well.
That comes
I'm
out.
gonna throw my 2 cents in
That
here.
comes on. in-
I really enjoy Psycho Circus. I haven't listened to it in a while, and in prep for this show, I diligently listen to everything. And besides Unplugged, this is the one I probably listened to the most in the last 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. I like how it sounds. I think it's a very well produced album. I like the song Psycho Circus. I love Within. I think is great. I don't think it translated great live though. I don't know. I just didn't think. I think it was kind of a more of a mid-tempo song. I mean, it kicks in towards the end, but I think it was kind of a more of a mid-tempo song that they didn't really need to do live. I Pledge Allegiance to the State of Rock and Roll is probably in my top 10 favorite Kiss songs. I fucking love that song. I think it's great. When you're writing shit down, the title's like very fucking long. You know, it's a pain in the ass to write down. But I love it. That is absolutely one of my favorite Kiss songs. Into the Void is great. It's definitely one of the top 3 songs on the album. If not the top song, I'll give Rob props. Rob is an ace guy on that one. We Are One I could kind of live without. You Wanted the Best is cool. It's campy. It's what you say is, the best. But if you listen to the song, they're fighting on the song. They're fighting on the fucking song, Raise Your Glasses. I don't like the chorus on that. I finally found my way, and I can't believe I'm saying this.
Let it out.
I actually don't mind this song. Yeah. I think if you're listening to this song, if Peter Criss let Paul Stanley write the shit for his fucking 78 solo album, it would have been so much better. This song would have been great on Peter's solo album if he didn't have all those other Peter Criss songs.
That's the kind of sugar Papa likes.
If that makes any kind of sense at all.
It's like the album is just the one song.
Dreamin's cool. Dreamin's not bad. And Journey of 1,000 Years, that's even not too bad either. I really like this album. I do. BC mentioned it before, In Your Face. We will post that really, really excellent Ace song that he sings. Gene wrote the song, but Ace sings it. It's really good.
There's this really good quote Gene has about You Wanted the Best, because he wrote it. He goes, the lyrics talk about a time when everyone in the band was bitching at each other in the press. With family, there's always a mixture of affection and bickering. Listen, we're really servants of the people. Ultimately, we have to brush aside our internal differences for the greater of the whole, the greater good, which is the fans. The least we owe them is to shut up, get up on stage, and put out. So I feel like that sums up the album pretty well. There's a lot of bickering in the family.
You owe 1995 for quoting him on the podcast.
I didn't say you could quote me.
The album's good.
It's a really good album.
I love this album. I think this album's fantastic. I don't think there's a bad song on there at all. And I think my favorite is probably Within or Into the Void. I like both of them probably equally. Yes. But We Are One, like that's a song about Kiss fans. We are one together. It's like a Kiss world. And that song reminds me of like the brotherhood of the Kiss Army.
Oh, right.
That's what that song brings to me. When I hear that, I think of everybody that's in the Kiss Army being together. Right. And like that's how the Cruises are.
20 years later.
The Cruises feel like we are one all together.
Yeah.
Even though we're individuals, we're all
That's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah. That's my take on it. Dreamin', probably my least favorite. Sorry, people, but out of all the other ones, I mean, that's probably... But it's still up there really good. Okay. You know what I mean? But if I had to throw one out, that would be that one.
All right, let's digress for 2 seconds. I forgot about it. Carnival of Souls, MVP, BC.
Bruce Kulick.
Okay, song?
Hate.
Okay, Rob?
Paul Stanley, Master and Slave.
BB.
Amen.
Wow.
Amen.
You second that.
I did.
Nice.
Wow, okay. I'm going to say that the MVP on that is going to be Bruce Kulick. I think he really ended up... he was kind of left with that in his lap when they did the reunion tour. I'm going to give him the MVP. And just for the kick-ass guitar playing on Jungle, I'm going to stick with Bruce for the MVP and Jungle for the song. Chris?
God's Gift, Paul Stanley.
Really?
Absolutely.
Shocking.
Master and Slave and In the Mirror. Two great tunes. Paul's vocals are great on the whole album.
In the Mirror is a good tune.
Yeah.
That's a good song.
That was I think the best time for Paul Stanley vocally. Revenge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Unplugged.
Yeah. There's
I think from Hot in the Shade up to Psycho Circus, I think was Paul Stanley's best singing ever.
Yeah.
And we know what that is now is not,
Gene sounds better than ever.
Gene does.
Gene sounds pretty good.
Gene is very underrated.
Yeah.
He didn't lose
singing
anything.
and playing.
Right. Yeah. He didn't lose anything in his years.
No. Well, and I think
If anything, I think he got better.
yeah. And I
His
think,
playing. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. Go
His
ahead.
playing on this solo tour, it's so upfront and so good and so loud that you could really hear him, and it sounds. It makes me appreciate his playing so much more when I saw him live, like with his solo project this year.
Yeah.
I enjoy his playing so much more now because he was turned up so loud.
Right.
And
It's not in the
yeah.
background. It's more up front.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we did, one of our first shows we did was right after we saw Gene. We said pretty much the same thing, like Gene. And God love Gene. He's out there and he's got his band that he's playing with now. They're having him pull these songs out, that
Yeah.
haven't been done in a while.
And he's doing them.
Yeah. Back to Psycho Circus. Well, we're going to go reverse around the table. Dylan, MVP.
I'm not as up on Psycho Circus. I'll say Paul. I think his vocal performances are really good on this album. I'm gonna say "Dreamin'" as the song. I really do like that song, even though it's ripped off of Alice Cooper.
Chris,
The same.
song and guy?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm also gonna say Paul Stanley. But I mean, you can't really say Ace or Peter as much as you would like to because
They weren't on the
they
album.
weren't really on the album. So you really have two choices here.
I tell you, Tommy Thayer.
Or Tommy Thayer, which we definitely won't get into that.
Kevin Valentine. you
I'm
could-
gonna do a tie for the songs though. I'm gonna say Into the Void and I Pledge Allegiance to the State of Rock and Roll. Ace only got to have one song on that album, but the one song he did is probably the most memorable song on the album to me.
It was good.
BB.
I'm not going to take away Into the Void. That's a good tune, but I still like Dreamin', and I'm going with Paul Stanley because he's bringing back that. He's on the top of his game with these vocals. I think, like BC said before, I think between these albums, this is right about now. Wright is right exactly where he peaks at his vocal ability. Then after this, you see a little decline. Definitely Paul Stanley and Dreamin' are my MVPs.
Roberto.
Well, as much as I love the song Within, I gotta go Ace Frehley, Into the Void. And I know he didn't play, sing, but that song is fantastic. Him being back and just rocking it out, love it.
I never in a million
one
years
song
would-
can
thought
one
you
song
would
can
pick
make
Ace.
or break the whole album
It
for you.
brings you back to
Absolutely.
1978.
I didn't think Rob was going to pick
deserve a
Ace.
beer, sir,
I
for
thought
that
Rob
one.
hated Ace. I don't know. What,
I'm a big Ace fan.
oh, are you? I never would have known. That airbrush shirt you own. Nothing gets
That's a Tommy
different.
Thayer shirt.
Oh, nice.
He gave you the look.
Nice.
Thought I was home. My wife, I got that one.
Yow.
Okay, VC.
I'm gonna go with Within.
Oh, love that
I
song.
guess
I
that's
do
such
love that song, too.
It's
I do.
such a great. As soon as that comes on, I just crank it right up. It's just I don't know. And then if I have to go with somebody for the album, Kevin Valentine.
Okay. I do have to say Within, it's a unique guitar sound on that song other than the rest of the album.
Yeah.
It's more of a chopping kind of guitar sound that is really excellent. I want to talk real quick about the tour. Rob, I know you saw the Psycho Circus tour.
Yeah, Philly.
Chris,
Yes, sir.
you saw it. I saw it. Actually, I know BC watched it with me. It was on the pay-per-view at
Dodger Stadium.
Dodger Stadium.
Now, is this the tour with the 3D glasses?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Rob, you and Chris were there. Fill us in real quick. What did you guys think about the whole 3D thing? And even if you remember the set list or not, I don't know.
I don't really remember the set list. We went to Philadelphia to see it. Big arena. We were towards the back. They handed out the glasses walking in, and they told you on the screens when to put the glasses on.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Some
a little,
kind of cue, like
yeah, there was a cue. It would come on. It would
Put
come on the
glasses on
screens.
now.
Put glasses on now.
Yeah.
So it was a little
seems
weird.
kind of distracting. from the
It
show.
was very strange
You're waiting
that
to
you
see
had to
them
put the
say.
3D glasses on. And when you did, you saw a little bit, but
Wasn't-
I remember doing it maybe halfway through the show. And a lot of it wasn't in 3D. They only did parts of it.
Right.
Yeah,
and it was
not
on the
much.
screen, the 3D parts anyway. So I think I did it for a little bit in the beginning, and then I just ditched the glasses. I still have the glasses, though.
That's awesome.
But it wasn't, I don't think it
I
worked out as
remember
good as they
watching
thought.
it on TV, and you could tell what songs had the the 3D, because I think it was Firehouse. They had the skeleton climbing up the ladder, and you could tell that they were, because it was blurred on the TV screen, but you could tell that that's one of the things that you guys had. I mean, it seemed like a good concert, though. I mean,
it was a good show.
Decent. I think it was Was it the first show? Was that the first show of the concert of that tour?
Dodger Stadium. Yeah.
Oh, the Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, the Dodger Stadium. Yeah.
They were supposed to have a circus.
Yeah, they were.
I guess it poured that night.
But I believe the circus was supposed to go through the whole tour, right?
And they wanted
they had big plans. But then I think ticket
faded.
sales were down,
Yeah.
so then they said they had to scrap the whole circus idea.
Yeah.
But they had big plans for that to happen.
Yeah.
Here, I have a Psycho Circus set list from 2000. It was in Arkansas. They opened up with Psycho Circus. Shout It Out Loud, Deuce, Heaven's on Fire, Shock Me, Firehouse, Do You Love Me, Let Me Go Rock and Roll, Into the Void.
Which was awesome.
Then Ace goes into his guitar solo. Cold Gin. Then we have the bass solo. And then we have God of Thunder. Then we have a drum solo. Lick It Up, I Love It Loud, 100,000 Years.
Yes.
That would be cool. Love Gun, Black Diamond, Detroit Rock City. And then their encore was 2,000 Man, Beth, and Rock and Roll Night.
Does it say when that was? What show that was from?
That was from Arkansas.
Okay. Here's
Sullivan Sports Arena. Anchorage, Alaska.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Real quick, here's the set list from the Dodger Stadium show that was on TV. Psycho Circus, Shout Out Loud, Let Me Go Rock and Roll, Shock Me, Do You Love Me, Calling Dr. Love, Firehouse, Cold Gin, She, Drum Solo, I Was Made for Loving You, Into the Void, Guitar Solo, Love Gun, Within, 100,000 Years, King of the Nighttime World, Bass Solo, God of Thunder, Deuce,
King of the
Detroit
Nighttime
Rock
World,
City,
cool.
Beth, Black Diamond, and Rock and Roll All Night. It was cool seeing that on TV. I mean, we were able to not wait in line to the bathroom at my house. The beer was a lot cheaper. We didn't have to, drive 3 hours to get there.
Hey, but you missed Smashing Pumpkins opening up for them at Dodger Stadium.
I didn't miss shit.
Hey, Smashing Pumpkins, great band.
They were something back in their day.
They apparently
like that
dressed
kind
as
of
the
shit.
Beatles
I don't even know who
for
they
that
are.
show.
Okay, so we are going to phase out of the Psycho Circus, and real quick, I just want to talk with Rob and Chris. You guys are welcome to chime in as you want. We have the Kiss Cruise coming up in a couple weeks. Myself and my wife, Chris, and his lovely girlfriend Tasha, and Rob and his lovely, awesome wife Carol. We're all going on the Kiss Cruise together. And what's your guys' thoughts, Rob?
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we had a blast last year. I'm sure we're going to have a blast this year. I hope they have a different, costumes or something set up. I don't think they will. They did the creatures costumes first time on the boat last year is when they brought them out, and then they just stayed with them, and it was Kiss World Tour after that. And I have a feeling we're going to see the same creatures costumes, which is okay, but
the Kiss Cruise should be unique.
it should be unique. So even if they threw the Love Gun outfits on or something just to mix it up a little bit for us, give us a little special
and then
treat.
do whatever you want after that.
Yeah.
For as much money as everybody pays for the Kiss Cruise, I think it should be something special.
Yeah.
So Tommy's going to be in Vinny makeup.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
What would have been awesome
Just saying.
if Eric Singer put on the Fox makeup last
man.
year.
I know.
That would have been
No,
fantastic.
you should put on the Big Bird outfit that Eric
Oh, yeah.
wore for, for a little bit.
What do you think, Chris? What's your expectations for what's coming up?
I'm looking forward to it. Unlike you, I'm really looking forward to the Sail Away acoustic show. I never saw them do that.
Yeah, I'm not looking. You Chris alluded to that. I'm not looking forward to the acoustic storytellers thing unless they really mix it up, because
Right.
we've heard the same song and dance about the Kiss songs for 40 some fucking years.
So you want a hidden gem? You want a?
I want something different. I don't want to hear how
You want a deep
Love
cut.
Gun
Right.
on the plane back from Japan or whatever.
Maybe Tommy will
Or-
talk about how Ace got shocked on stage and wrote
Yeah,
a song
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, yeah. I
If they do it,
I'm glad they're playing anything, but I like on last year's show, they did the Sail Away show, Electric show, And my main thing is these days, I think Kiss is lazy. They're very complacent, and I think it's Paul and Gene. I know it's not Tommy and Eric.
Well, they've asked.
I'm going to say it's Paul, pretty much. They outed Paul.
Yeah, they asked the
on
question.
last year's thing that Paul is the one that doesn't want to do these songs. Well, if they were good songs, we'd have been doing them all along. No, you have like over 100 songs. You can only do so many in a show. You know, these are the diehard Kiss fans that are on this ship.
Exactly.
And sometimes their wives, they get dragged along. You know?
Right.
I'm just going to throw that out there.
By association.
Like, we're the ones that are paying that. We want that extra stuff. We want that song that they haven't busted out. I'll even go crazy if they play something from the fucking Elder, just to hear something different besides World Without Heroes that we've been hearing for the last couple of years.
You don't drop a couple grand just to hear them do Rock and Roll All Night for the
No.
Well, they've done the Oath on the boat.
They have.
So that would be.
But like, even they didn't
out
mix up the
Just a
set
Boy.
really much, even from the sail away show to the indoor show.
No.
You know,
You're right.
they did Radioactive. They did Wouldn't You Like to Know Me and Rock and Roll Hell, I think, were the only songs that they did different from the Sail Away show 2 nights before. I think they're very complacent. I love Kiss. I would just love to actually see Kiss do right by their diehard fans on the Kiss cruise.
Yeah.
They have in the past. You look at some of the videos from the past Kiss cruises, they busted out Room Service and The Oath and Let Me Know and shit like that. Like, play that shit. That's what we want to fucking hear.
Throw us a bone.
You know, if I never hear Love Gun Again or Rock and Roll All Night or Shout It Out Loud, I would be a happy man. Just give us what we're paying for.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. The cruise should be
Different.
pull out the gems. Even if they sent out a poll, what are the 15
did.
songs? But they
didn't go by it though.
Right,
No.
they didn't go
You
by
got
it.
people.
I guess
you got people paying buka money.
Yeah.
Right.
Do something different that these people can go back and say, if you're on a cruise, you could have saw that.
Right.
But
Right.
you're not going to see it because you weren't on the cruise.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It's not much different than any other
That's all.
Kiss show,
No. And
except it's more intimate.
yeah, last year was the first time that any one of the three of us went on a Kiss cruise. And people are under the, you tell people, I went on the Kiss cruise. Now they're under the impression that it's just Kiss on the cruise.
Right.
It's not. Skid Row was on there. Enough's Enough. King's X was on there. The Dives were on there. Whitford St. Holmes was on there. We saw a lot of music on that cruise.
Mm-hmm.
This year we have Extreme, Steel Panther, Derek St. Holmes is back on.
The Biters.
The Biters. There's a Led Zeppelin tribute band and
There's
a
a
Beatles,
Beatles
tribute
tribute.
band, which I'm not ecstatic about.
Big Rock Show.
Big Rock Show, which the Big Rock Show is Gene
Fantastic.
Simmons'
Band.
solo band.
Right.
And they are fantastic.
And they kick ass.
Yeah.
You
Too
know,
bad
they
Gene
just,
didn't do a solo show with them.
we don't know that he won't.
Who says he won't jump
don't
up
know
on
that he won't.
stage?
Do you guys know something I don't?
No.
No.
But that
I'm
was-
just saying. You
guys
know,
keeping something?
It's definitely within the
What you
realm of
talking about,
possibility. You
I
know,
wonder if they get up on stage and do Mr. Blackwell together. Poof. That would be awesome.
Rob jumps in the ocean because his life is complete.
Man overboard.
Yeah. So after we get back from the cruise, we're going to do a Kiss cruise wrap up. We're going to talk about last year's cruise and then this year's cruise. And we just wanted to let you guys know that we're going to go on there. And maybe me, Chris, and Rob, we may do a podcast episode on the ship. You never know.
Cool.
Live from the ship.
So,
That'd be awesome.
you guys stay tuned. Let's get some final thoughts here. We'll start with BC.
To me, this was a great Kiss time, I thought. You grew up with Kiss.
Right,
Back
no,
in the day,
it was
we grew up
it was
with
a
Kiss.
good
and it
era,
was just
yeah.
Revenge and the acoustic, like you said, and then Carnival. To me, I was really back into Kiss 100% in that era. And then they kind of lost me when they got back together and just started doing everything for money.
Okay. Rob.
This is where I kind of come back because I left Kiss for a little bit right around Unmasked era, and I really got into Van Halen for like a while there. So
We definitely switched gears in that era.
yeah, but Van Halen was just kicking it. You know what I mean? It was a different. But Kiss was always still there, but it just they weren't. And then when Revenge came out, Revenge just brought me back full throttle, and it was off the hook. And then just one after the other, everything started coming out. And then when they got back together, it was just like, holy, and it just was.
Here we go.
It was crazy. So now I'm still.
Oh, I agree.
I'm
When they
still
got
on
back
that
together,
ride.
original Kiss is like, wow.
I'm still on that ride.
Like you said, here's the
I
original
haven't lost
Kiss.
them.
But then, like, to now, it's just, I don't know.
No, I'm still fine. I love this band. The band that's right now,
musically,
they can play anything.
I'm a big Ace
Musically,
fan,
yes.
but I'm all right with Tommy. They're playing better now than they have
They
in a
can play
long
anything.
time.
So
I'm still
musically,
happy
they
with the
can play
bands.
anything in the catalog.
I'll still go see Ace, but I'm happy with the way Kiss is.
BB?
You have to think about what roller coaster this band went on in 10 years. You know, they have Hot in the Shade, then their drummer dies, so then they got to go out and revenge. They got to get a new drummer. So Eric comes in, sits in Eric's seat. Then you bring out a live album. Then you bring out an Unplugged album, which is totally different. Then you bring a Greatest Hits album out, in a way, for the You Wanted the Best. And then you have the dark Kiss. Then you have the old Kiss. Like, what band in 10 years goes on that roller coaster ride and still brings it?
What band is around for 10 years anymore?
Right.
Yeah, that's true too.
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
But what a roller coaster ride this band went on in 10 years.
Chris?
Unlike you and Rob, who kind of left in the 80s, I guess, that was my Kiss era that I really probably enjoyed the most. That was,
Lick it up, Animalize.
yeah, I was a teenager and I was starting to learn what life is about, and all these songs were, meaning something.
About doing the stuff you wanted to do.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, like, all that, the MTV years and, all the flash with the 80s metal and all that stuff, that was what really defined me as being a real
As a music fan.
music fan and a diehard Kiss fan, because a lot of people jumped ship in the 80s and really didn't stick with Kiss. And, like, I got made fun of all through high school, for being a diehard Kiss fan, when everybody said, they suck and, glam and everything. The more people hated them, the more it made me, I guess, love them.
Yeah.
See, we just make fun of you now for other reasons. Not
What's he talking about? You know what I mean? And then when they put the makeup back on, it was, a dream come true.
Right.
And now that it's, I don't know if it ran its course, but I would love to go back and see a tour just doing all the 80s stuff. It's never going to happen, but,
Never say never.
that would be something for a cruise.
There you go.
All the non-makeup stuff.
Ooh, that would be different.
Very different.
No makeup cruise.
King of the Mountain,
They'll have to
Silver
change-
Spoon.
Yeah.
Change the name
Yes.
of Animalize to Alienate, because it's going to alienate a lot of people.
Crazy Nights.
I don't know about that.
I'd be on that cruise.
All right.
I think I would go on that cruise, but
Definitely.
it would be different.
Come with me.
You know what I mean? Because I was there for those years. The only tour I did not see was Crazy Nights tour,
Me too.
but I was a part of that. But to do a cruise on that, I'd probably go just because it's the band. It's Kiss.
I would definitely go to that.
Didn't Paul say last year that they'll never go back to the non-makeup
Yeah.
tour?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But
I don't see.
They
it.
changed their mind
But
like underwear.
the Sail Away show last year was no makeup.
No.
It was just them playing.
Yeah,
And
You know what I mean?
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
You know what? Talking about stuff we did earlier today. Bring back Bruce. Nothing against Tommy.
We may
Bring
see
back
Bruce rock with him on the cruise.
Put
Yeah.
Bruce back in there and, like Chris
If
said,
they get up
doing
and do
80s,
songs
80s
together,
stuff. Exactly.
you know, if they do Unholy or something, I mean, that will be fantastic.
They can really do this cruise right.
Right, they could blow our
They
mind.
can really do that. Whether they're willing to.
If they did a secret show and brought, Bruce out and played some of those.
Well, the
classic
schedule,
songs.
it's got Bruce and Bob playing songs.
Yeah.
I think it's the first night, right?
Yes.
They're playing?
Yeah, the first day. Yeah, the schedule is out.
So
First
I'm
night.
sure Kiss has talked to him and said, don't do these songs
Right.
because we may bring you guys up on stage and do these
Right.
for, well, I don't
Hey,
know.
listen.
For what? Well, we don't know.
Kiss don't take a shit without a fucking plan.
That's true.
Whatever's going to happen on this cruise is already mapped
Yeah,
out.
it's not spontaneous.
It's already mapped out. There's
not
nothing
gonna be
that
spur of the
happens
moment.
off the cuff with these
Yeah.
guys.
It's not going to be, we're going to pull what do you call it out of the crowd here.
Yeah. Dylan, final thoughts from you.
As a person who's mostly viewed Kiss through a retrospective lens, having been born around this era, I have to say that I like early Kiss and I like this era of Kiss the most. Everything bookending those two kind of, I don't know, they lose me there. I feel really bad for Bruce Kulick because I feel like the way he left the band was such a bullshit way. You know, Eric got to come back after, but Bruce was kind of just left high and dry.
Agreed.
And
Yeah, it was just
like,
okay,
hey, we're going to do
going
a
this way.
reunion. See you guys.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
Eric, come on back. Bruce, we don't need you. You know, it's
Yeah.
and it wasn't like he had like issues like Vinnie Vincent did. He was a good player and,
And he's a nice guy too. When
Yeah,
you talk to him,
why
he's
can't he
he's
be
a
ace?
nice guy.
contributed a ton
He
to
wouldn't
the.
be ace.
No,
He-
No.
that- Bruce is too much of a musician, and
Okay,
you know,
Yeah, I don't see Bruce doing the makeup.
Yeah.
No.
My
he's too
final thoughts are.
He's a musician, like you said.
yeah.
Rob said that Revenge really brought him back, and Rob and I have had many discussions. He is not a fan of Hot in the Shade, and I am a huge fan of Hot in the Shade. And I'm going to say my huge fandom of Hot in the Shade
It's
is
grown on me.
that's the album that brought me back full into the Kiss world.
The tour
Huh?
brought me back.
And I'm saying for me it was the album and then the tour.
yeah. Okay.
Like Rob, I did not totally check out in the '80s. I love the '80s Kiss stuff. I mean, I would if they did an '80s Kiss cruise, I would be all over that more than I'm over the Kiss cruise right
Me
now.
too.
Me too.
I would be right on that stuff. I absolutely love Lick It Up, and I absolutely love Animalize. I
If they
fucking
did,
think
if they
those
did
two
like the
albums
80s
are
stuff on the
great.
cruise, I'd be on it.
You
Because
know,
make sure you time me off the show.
for as much as Vinnie Vincent, I think, doesn't fit in the band visually, his songwriting was impeccable.
Songwriting's good.
And I loved his guitar playing on Lick It Up.
he shredded it.
And, you know, for whatever he played on Creatures. I mean, visually, not so much, but like musically and songwriting, hey, they brought him back. They brought him back
Yeah.
for Revenge. He wasn't knocking on their door saying, listen, I want to write songs with you. They brought him back to write songs. I mean, granted, I think it was only 3 on Revenge, but they brought him back.
Yeah.
And, you know, with Vinny reemerging now, I mean, I don't think you'll ever see Vinny and Kiss do anything together.
No.
Even if it's like the last show Kiss ever does.
Because Vinny's ego
I don't think you will
is
see
just as
Vinny
big
Vincent.
as
I
Gene
think
on it.
Vinny
balls.
should mail them some lyrics, and they can collaborate through email lyrically. That would be great.
Not in the same room. Just
Not in the same
Hey, a
room,
lot of albums, they're not recorded. You know, you don't even see the guy you're recording
but he's
with
a
anymore.
fantastic songwriter.
Bands
So
do
they-
it.
I would be
Damn
surprised
right he
if,
is.
if
You're
if they
damn
worked with
right he
him.
is.
No, I wouldn't either. I don't think they might not sit down together, but if they can swap, emails back and forth with lyrics somehow.
Gene's
Like
getting
Steve
they-
said,
bushy
how
these
they
old
record
days.
They
music
write
now,
good
they don't-
together.
They don't have to be even in the same state now.
Right.
You know.
Don't have to be the
But,
same country.
but of course they'll never tour.
He could write
No.
songs.
Sure.
He could write songs. No doubt.
I mean, I would definitely be all over an 80s Kiss thing. And as far as this era Kiss that we talked about tonight, it's interesting. Like BB hit it on the head. It went so much up and down, and
It's a
you
lot
know
of waves,
the
ebbs and
line on
flows.
the graph was like
was a
all over
roller
the place.
coaster, yeah.
And I think it was just a
In 10
very
years.
interesting time in
1,
Kiss,
2,
and it was a
3, 4,
great,
5, 6,
you know, a
7.
great time and a not
7
so
albums in
great
10
time.
years.
But hey, they're Kiss. We love them. Let's everybody. We'll say goodnight, and we'll say goodnight. We'll start over here, Dylan.
yeah, like I said, you know, Kiss. I grew up with Kiss in the household, and it's just something that, for better or for worse, will always be a part of my life. So I'm
Whether he
just
wants
happy
it or
that
not.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that I appreciate Kiss, and
I'm just happy I wasn't named Vinny or Tommy or
Yeah.
Gene or Peter or Ace.
Yeah,
Peter Wright.
I'm just happy that I like Kiss, and that I was able to appreciate the band and still do. I guess is what I'll say from my last
right.
words.
BC.
I mean, like I said, I like this era. It really, I never left in the '80s. I was there. I might not have been like, wow, but I listened to the 80s Kiss.
Right.
And like you said, if they did, damn right I did. But if they did a Kiss 80s cruise, I'd be over that. Give Bruce Kulick some love because I think he got the raw deal.
You got the stang, that's for sure.
You got the raw deal in the
It
end.
was an out of sight, out of mind situation, I think.
Yep. Rob.
All right, I would probably like to say that I had a great time here tonight.
Awesome. It was awesome having you guys on.
Yeah.
Love talking Kiss Talk, and we're going to be hitting the cruise. I hope to meet a lot of people on the boat and talk more Kiss stuff. And the more I could take in and learn about this band that I've loved since I was 9 years old, the more I enjoy it. It just gets me going, and it's a different world. We are one. We are one united army, Kiss Army, and that's all I got.
Nice.
Nice.
Very nice. I don't even know how to even follow that now.
Let's not.
Man. But yeah, like I said before, what a roller coaster this band went through in 10 years. But I honestly have to say, after Psycho Circus, I lost Kiss. Like Monster, I don't like it. Like 80s Kiss, love it. Non-makeup Kiss, love it. You know, I grew up on the makeup. My first Kiss album was a double platinum, which I didn't know was like a greatest hits album. But I love the non-makeup Kiss in the 80s. And just Psycho Circus, it was cool. Have the old guys back. It was great sounding. After that, they lost me. But I don't know why. But
So you're currently lost.
I'm currently lost in 98.
Okay. Chris.
I want to thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Looking forward to the cruise.
Yeah.
Looking forward to coming back again and doing another podcast after the cruise, comparing them both. That's all I got. Good night.
All right. Before I do my final words here, we're going to real quick do our thank yous. And we're going to start with BB.
All right. Thank you guys for sharing us, liking our post. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. You know, your voice is our voice. Keep sharing us. I want to thank Trevor McDougall, Kim Quinn, Cindy Russick, Nick Uzalko, Amanda Dyer, Joe Mangieri, John Novobilski, Jill Cobb, Kevin Warcraft, my son Killian Bannon, and thank you for letting me do all this crazy shit, my wife Randy Bannon. BC.
All right, people. Again, let us know what you think. Let you know what you think about me. I mean, okay,
You're a pain in the ass.
we'll fight.
But we still love you, BC.
We'll fight somewhere. Anyways, Steve Dill, Aaron Martell, Christine Apostaco, I killed that name. Adam Cox, Gene Grossman, Rob Webb, Tamara Sweeney Y, Rob R.A. Fiorosi, Victor Ruiz, Shane Herbert, and Mark Arnold.
All right. At this point, I'd like to thank my awesome wife, Corey, for putting up with our shit here. Dylan, Mark Satorka, Ed Spangenberg, Mark Anthony K, Chris Sinzak, and Aaron Camaro from the Decibel Geek Podcast, Heather Shakeres, Kaylin Provo, David Hudson, and Chris Craig from the Digital Killed the Radio Star Podcast, Amber Bitts, Joe Polo, and Jody Havnot from the Podcast Rock City Podcast, Ken Keenan, Chris Grove from the Kiss World Podcast, Michelle Sarah, Ken Mills, the Podfather from the Podkissed Podcast, Julian Gill from Kiss FAQ Podcast, Stephen Michael and Sonny Pooney from the Growing Up Rock Podcast. And I want to thank Rob and Chris for coming and sitting down with us here tonight and talking some Kiss with us. And like Chris said, we look forward to doing another show after we wrap up the Kiss Cruise. And all you guys out there that are going on the Kiss Cruise, hope to see you there. Look for me. Rob and Chris, we will be there on the ship, and maybe we can get a couple different views from some of you guys out there if you're going to be on the Kiss Cruise. And I just want to thank everybody. You can find us on iTunes, on Facebook, YouTube, Ear Peeler. You can find us on CastBox. Anywhere pretty much you could listen to a podcast, you could find us guys on there. And I would like to thank everybody once again. If you enjoy our show, leave us a review on iTunes, 5-star review would be much appreciated. It helps get our podcast out there and associates us with other podcasts of this type of music. And I want to say thanks again, and we will see you next time, and there will be a next time.